I wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey, and we're already in day 8 of the second qualifying round for the 2025 Carcassonne Champions League. Today we're about to witness a high-level match in the upper bracket of Q3, which is the qualification for international competition winners. Today we have Szigfrid from Hungary and pablobce from Argentina. Now szigfrid is of course a very known player, played Carcassonne since 2007, but most notably the reigning vice champion in the individual world championships, and the reason why they qualified for the qualification for the Champions League is that with the Hungary team, he achieved 3rd place at the 2024 World Team Carcassonne Online Championship, whereas the Argentinian Pablo managed to win one of the King of Carcassonne events, which is a series of turn-based tournaments. And that's how they got there. This is already the second round in this double elimination format. Szigfrid won against the Spaniard with the screen name Loco Lo20, whilst Pablo won a bit of a narrower duel against the Brit with a screen name Lazy Boar. And so both players still have 2 chances to qualify, so whoever wins this game will play against one of the members of the Japanese national team with the screen name Ezetakuto Traps, a Japanese master, and the loser of today's match will play in the bottom bracket against Besson of Brazil, who also happens to be the captain of the team in which I am playing in the Brazilian team championships, Piratas de Carcassonne. We've already busted out, so the Brazilian championship is still going, but just without Besson and without me. So he has plenty of time to prepare for whoever is going to be his next opponent. And this we will find out over the course of the next hour or so. Reminder, this is a best of 3 format, so whoever wins 2 games is going to advance further. Do let me know in the chat who you're rooting for and who you think is going to win, which is not always the same thing. I would say that Szigfrid has to be the favorite here with a peak rating of 800, as he will be the favorite against most players, really. But, you know, Pablo certainly has proven quite deep understanding of the game. So I would expect the Hungarian to have a slight edge, but, you know, with some chances for the Argentinian. Right, so it is now 8 p.m. UTC. Let's now start clicking and updating, because they must have started the game, and they just started a couple of seconds ago. And interesting, it's actually at the moment Pablo's the one with the higher rating. And they also have the starting advantage with their red meeple already on a soon-to-be 8-point city, but not so fast, says Szigfrid, and places a green meeple right next to his city to prevent red from easy 8 points. Now a curve, not the best tile, but you can go over here, start a new road, and also preserve the chances to draw a splitter tile that would allow you to get 8 points. Don't really see another move there, and this is exactly what the Argentinian does. Hi, Pablo. So, great tile for Szigfrid, an opportunity to add it over here, continue his city at the top, create some threat of completion. Now the city is covered up from all possible attacks. So Pablo has 2 options here. One is kind of go for the pure equity move, which would be over here, starting a new city, which is probably what I would prefer. The other one is this, starting a new city on the left, but also creating an attacking platform. I prefer the other move, first of all, because it gives an extra road point. It creates a setup for a 6-point loop road. which is what you're gonna do anyway. And the reason I'm not such a huge of this move is because it, opens up an opportunity for a 4-point road for one of the players, which slightly benefits more green than red because red already has a road meeple open. So now red kind of has to go over here to take out this 4-point road. But of course, as szigfrid covered up his city, it becomes a little bit dangerous. Note that for all of these two yeah, okay, I think that's a bit too much. I think this is a move which is playing a bit too scared. So Pablo now sacrifices points in order to create an attacking platform against the city. But actually, that wasn't quite necessary. So even though this city is already well developed and quite threatening, unless green draws a specific combination of Dorito triple city cap and Dorito, then this city will be attackable. At least, red has one chance. So imagine if this tile is not here. Let's say green takes a city cap and chooses to place here. Then we have this attacking platform. Or if green takes the Dorito, then at least we have this attacking platform. So it's not that urgent to attack the city. Like, if you get a useless tile, then by all means, you want to spend a move on creating an attacking platform, but a 4-point road is a bit too much to sacrifice, especially in a position where your opponent does not have any good use for road tiles. Like very early, later in the game, when there are all kind of things lying around, that makes more sense. But if this 4-point road is a bit more valuable than one might think. But the plan of red works perfectly, as red is able to connect over here and neutralize the city. Even if this connection is not completed, red will be able to add a couple of points over here, roughly equalize the city, and red is certainly happy with his achievement. On the previous move, the Hungarian managed a really nice gambit, giving 1 point to red, but breaking the integrity of his road. Now red will need 2 road ends in order to complete his road, and this idea of a 6-point loop is not possible. And also this new city is in the safest possible position. Nothing can attack this city cap in one move. Wow, what a move from szigfrid. That's really, really nice. So this move has multiple purposes. Purpose number 1, add 1 point to our city. Purpose number 2, we're trying to block the square in order to prevent red from drawing a splitter tile and cashing up on easy 8 points. Then also, if we get a tile that goes, let's say here, let's say we block this, then we can expand our city, but most importantly, we can sneak in over here to the big city. And as szigfrid, I would probably go over here now, which is exactly what he does. And this is an excellent idea because it now creates multiple threats. The threats are to block this square and or to block this square, because you really need to block only one. Preferably you want to block this square to prevent your opponent from getting his meeple back. And then green has this big ruin, and red's going to be left with either 2 small pieces for the same number of blocked meeples, because these 2 red meeples will also be blocked, just as these 2 green meeples. So for the same number of blocked meeples, but for way, way fewer points. Moreover, if these 2 squares are blocked, then green can develop his ruin pretty much endlessly, whereas red's potential at the top is a little bit limited. Moreover, blocking just 1 square is enough. So let's say we block this square, then if red connects over here, well, red's still going to have a minority 2 versus 1. So, or 1 versus 2 from red's perspective, which means that what does that mean? Oh yeah, which means that red will need to spend 1 more meeple to attack this ruin in order to equalize this ruin. Red will... So basically, there's no good outcome for red. Either red will lose points, or red will lose meeples. Unless, of course, red really quickly draws the splitter, in which red is completely bailing out. And you see, so now the strategy of red is to just try to outscore green on the board, with features that they can claim meeples back from. So like this city over here is going to be a nice juicy 12 point or more, very difficult to attack it. szigfrid probably going to start a loop road. Although I can't be sure exactly about szigfrid move. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes over here, which I think would a mistake, but I've noticed that unlike other top players, szigfrid is probably willing to sacrifice more points than anybody else. So certainly he's very conservative about meeple placement, even though I looked at his statistics and his average meeple placement per game is only like half a meeple lower than the majority of other top players. Yeah, and look, see what he does. So he does exactly the same thing. So he doesn't start loop road himself. Instead, he creates an attacking platform against the city, also restrict this road a little bit. And now also, so like if I were szigfrid, I would probably go here with a meeple on this road with the idea of getting 2 straight lines and a loop road. Let's see if he does this. This also has the advantage of, creating some vulnerable squares here and here. There's also a case to be made for dropping a farmer, because eventually, yeah, okay, so he does go for the road after all, which I like. And then the farmer we can drop on the next move, because I kind of see that something goes here, 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 so this field can grow quite a lot. And this road's really safe. It's impossible to block. So now, let's say if Pablo goes here, then szigfrid's going to still have 3 tiles that fit into that square. So, very nice find here of a easy 6-point road. Maybe that's something that szigfrid was actually considering on the previous move, so that he didn't have to meeple this road now, because he'd be able to do it later. I generally prefer meepling the features directly and straight away in the opening, just because creating the platform, an attacking platform against the city has only so much value. Like, there's still so many city caps in the game, and your opponent could draw one of those city caps and finish the city immediately. But at least in this case, green was able to take advantage of both of these tiles as scoring tiles, in addition to, creating those attacking threats. Still Pablo now with 12 extra points on the scoreboard. Pre-finishes his road over here, still leaves this part vulnerable. Honestly, I don't like this move one bit, because, well, there's a lot of danger. Like, for example, szigfrid could draw a cow tile and block 2 of these meeples at the same time. Like, imagine if a triple city tile goes here, then you see 2 daggers have already gone out, so there would have been only 1 dagger that fits into this square. So it's crucial to first secure this side of the road. And I see that this move seems to restrict this square over here, with the idea that szigfrid would not be able to block this square. But actually, this is not how you want to restrict it. If you want to restrict the square, you want to put not a road side to it, but a field side to it. Because if you place the road side to it, you allow not all, but most of the blocking tiles that fit into that square. So let's say Dorito with the road pointing inwards. Or even better, a city cap with a triple crossroad, scoring 2 extra points. So the only thing that this eliminates is pretty much the starting tile, which no longer fits, and the lone left-handed dagger that's remaining. Now szigfrid continues his roads. There's still 6 tiles remaining that fit over here. Could probably drop a farmer upon completion. Now, fantastic tile for Pablo, managed with the road. Yeah, and now we can finally bail out from the road. So, and resolve the problem of this rather difficult square. And now maybe Pablo will be able to drop a meeple over here. Now, for szigfrid, it's a tricky situation. So, I guess we could go here and block this square and continue with our plan. But then there's still the risk of the splitter. We could go over here and score 2 points for a road, which is a move I am inclined to do after all. The problem is that there's still 2 triple city tiles that fit over here. But then I'm thinking that maybe as green we can block this square later and block only one of red's meeples. It seems to be enough. Because I see that there are only 3 big tiles remaining, 2 cows and 1 horse. Yeah, exactly. So that's why szigfrid does this. So the chances of red connecting here and here are fairly low. But Pablo, if he wants, can actually increase them. So he needs to think how to play this game out strategically. Does he decide that equalizing this ruin is important, in which case he would need to go over here, in order to allow himself extra tiles, not only the horse or cow tile, but also the giraffe's neck? That would fit here, the extender. But he decides, no, you know what? I'm ahead on the scoreboard a little bit. I'm about to finish a road. I don't really care too much about this ruin. I can allow my opponent to overrun it. If I just take quick 8 points and get a meeple back, quick points here and get a meeple back, drop another monastery with a meeple, of which there are 5 remaining. So that's a nice setup of another monastery spot. Then this ruin is not that important strategically, especially if there's still some sort of chance to connect to the city before it's until it's fully blocked. Now szigfrid drops a farmer, doesn't wait until the completion of this road, and of course he also wants to restrict red's city in the process. Red in the meantime finishes a 3-point road to add 3 points to his scoreboard lead. szigfrid will probably get his road meeple back, but one thing that he's going to do is think a little bit. Before that, he tends to think and double-check even obvious moves to ensure that he's not missing anything better. For example, now, he decided to use this straight line as an attacking tile, and I disagree in this case. Not because it didn't work, but for some other reasons. So, first of all, if you are going to use this tile over here, it is incomparably better to place it over here. Because, let's say, if you place it here and you restrict from here, let's say commit this tile toward the starting tile, there's still going to be 3 tiles that fit into that square. Whereas you go here and get another row tile over here, then the only tile with which Pablo could have bailed himself out was this lone dagger, which by the way was the last of its kind, so there's no left-handed dagger remaining. So that was kind of a tactical mistake. First of all, I'm really surprised to see this move, and this move over here would also bother the monastery a little bit. So there might be some reasons, like positionally why szigfrid didn't want to go there. Maybe he didn't want Pablo to draw another straight line, and with that and drop a farmer, set up a regular monastery, and so on. So that was one kind of tactical reason. But the other one was more long-term and strategic. There are better tiles to start blocking attacks. And I think as szigfrid, it's just better to get a meeple back and consolidate his position. Because there is still like a 3% chance of him never getting his meeple back if his opponent draws the straight lines. That, of course, is not big of a percentage, but you know, these all small things, they add up. And also because the temporary meeple advantage also means something. Like at the moment, szigfrid has only 1 meeple. And getting a meeple back is pretty important, because let's say if your opponent drops a farmer, then you can afford yourself to drop another farmer and keep the majority on the field. But maybe szigfrid manages to get a road meeple back soon enough, and then his plan works after all. And of course, he has these 2 city caps open. He can get a meeple back like this. Pablo starts a new city. There's also some intentionality behind the location. First of all, it's far away from the main field, which is currently owned by szigfrid, so he doesn't want to add any more cities there. So that's, for example, he doesn't even bother adding a city cap over here, which would also be a legit move. But the idea that he doesn't want over here, it's not only to limit the number of city caps in the main fields, but also to make sure that first he finds a monastery tile and only then builds around both monasteries simultaneously. And of course, restricting this square is pretty important. If, as Pablo, we can finish the city and play something like a straight line over here, then we're a very happy person, because we'll break apart the ruin of green, which will mean that in order to maintain the parity, we will need to connect only one of these meeples instead of two. So that will be a big possessional gain. So a very nice find here from the Argentinian. szigfrid takes a couple of quick points on the right with the crossroads, and now a straight line from the Argentinian. Not many useful things to do, so let's see how creative he gets. He chooses to restrict part of the ruin. An alternative was to start dropping farmers straight away. He decided a little bit too early, or to create an attacking platform against this guy over here. szigfrid now gets another straight line, so fortunately for him it was not a long wait. 6 points on the scoreboard, a meeple back, and still all the chances to win the game and overcome the slight advantage that red still has in this position. Hi Nalaheim, hi Wise Maze, hi Hugo. Nalaheim saying someone's going home. Not in this one, I think. Because both players are from the winning bracket, if I'm not mistaken. So somebody's going to the lower bracket. Yes, Wise Mage, thank you for explaining. Yeah, thank you also for explaining about the website. Question from Pablo. Dear Alexey, could you tell in a few words about the Brazilian Championship where I'm playing? Yes, I will do that as soon as the action slows down, either in between games or during a game or after the stream, but I will address that question a little bit later. Pablo finishes the city and creates the threat of blocking the square. szigfrid with the divider tile cannot defend, but what he can do, he can go over here or over here, so he will decide that. Also, some thought will need to be taken on the orientation of the city cap, either left or right, and whether to drop a second farmer already or to just meeple the city cap. So there are some upsides and downsides, but instead he goes here, which also makes sense. Of course, it's a bit unpleasant to be spending a tile as good as this, but this move really has a lot of merit in the sense that this square is now completely blocked. The quadruple city tile that would have fit over here, it has gone out. And also it makes it a tad harder, not by much, but a little bit harder to block that square. And so szigfrid can still accomplish his plan of going over here, connecting the ruins, and then maybe even eating up this bit over here. Yeah, actually, now that the more I look at it, the more it seems that this move is totally worth it, even though it would have given szigfrid a lot of points straight away. But ideally, of course, as szigfrid, you want this to be a Dorito rather than a divider. But you know, if you get a divider, like, I guess you have to use it here. Maybe given the score, I might have gone for the greed a little bit more and abandoned the idea of the ruin altogether. Because szigfrid still has the temporary meeple majority. Well, not now, but like the mid-term meeple majority, should I say, as Pablo will take a while to build his monastery. Moreover, if he places a second monastery next to his monastery, this one will have to use a meeple too. Maybe it's possible to block them, and in that case, if we just drop more city caps and build this big field with 2 farmers, maybe we can win the game that way, like with a 24-point field. That probably should be enough to overcome the difference, as we also get some city caps, score some city points. And then it also sets up for a couple of opportunities. So let's say if we get a lot of big tiles, then we can use them on the ruin. If we get a lot of small tiles, then we can use them to build cities. Something like this. Not many road tiles remaining, which is a good thing for szigfrid because he doesn't really need them. He needs city tiles, whereas road tiles can be used effectively by Pablo in some circumstances. Only 2 straight roads and only 3 curves, I believe. So 1 in 6 remaining tiles, or even less, is a simple road tile. szigfrid places a move with marginal positional benefits. So the idea, I guess, oh yeah, no, it's not marginal, it's actually quite significant. The idea is to block this square, to maybe get another straight line and make sure that a curve facing downwards cannot be used here for block, so that only a T crossroads can be used here for a block. Still 2 Dorito tiles and 2 cow tiles that fit into that square. Only 3 regular curves to block, and also some other options as well. In the meantime, Pablo keeps accruing quick points and quick points and quick points. Gets a meeple back, 24 points extra on the scoreboard, and a Dorito tile for szigfrid, which he probably needs still to spend to go over here. I know it's not a great situation to be in, to have 3 meeples on city caps, but you really don't want to leave the city cap alone. There are plenty of city caps still in the deck, and you should assume that your opponent's going to draw one soon. There's still 2 vertical splitter tiles, 1 horizontal splitter tile, 2 vanillas. Like, there's loads and loads of good things. But instead, szigfrid continues this city, which should make Pablo happy, or should it? Yeah, so Pablo managed to successfully block that square, which is not great for szigfrid, but at least Pablo doesn't go over here with a curve, which was an alternative move, and does not start attacking the square. So probably szigfrid now can meeple this new city cap, now that he needs to abandon the city idea. This is also one of the things why, even though I like this move, why I slightly prefer strategically just finishing his city and starting a new one, or dropping another farm or something like this, just because this move, even though it blocks this square, it does not guarantee the security of this square. And we can see the consequences of that. So it will be a big investment here for the Hungarian, but ultimately only, so let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 points advantage on this ruin will be the case. Strategically not significant enough, as szigfrid continues his city on the bottom. Now Pablo will get another 7-point monastery over here, with 4 more monasteries remaining, and this is looking really, really good for Pablo. Hi, Istmono. Yeah, love watching these Carcassonne games. How many rounds in the tournament? First of all, thank you. Second, let me think. So, in the qualification stages, there are 4 rounds for most people. It's kind of like first round, quarterfinals, semifinals, finals. This is the last day of the second round. So after this, these players will have 2 more games. Well, the winning player will have 2 more games, I think. Well, we'll need to double check. But for some players, it's 3 rounds. Let's actually just look at the bracket. So it's 3 or 4, depending on which qualification group you're in. And then the main stage will last for months. For a couple of months in the early 2025, where there will be 48 players in the main stage, I believe. And there will be 5 normal rounds, so players are divided into groups. They play round robin, so there will be 5 rounds, and then the winners out of each group are going to play a playoffs, and then there are 4 playoff rounds for most people. For some people, it's 3. So it's really, really a long-term event, as szigfrid takes quick points, something that he really needed, but Pablo now is going to get yet another monastery, which he should absolutely not chicken out from meepling. The way you win this game as the Argentinian is just to simply outrun your opponent with monasteries, as green has to helplessly watch. I mean, there are some chances here for green, but I do feel sorry a little bit that it seems that green... Oh. Okay, this is a clear mistake by Pablo. Choosing a monastery placement that is blockable in 1 move. I mean, with any curvoid, szigfrid can go over here and lose 2 meeples, and make red lose 2 meeples. Now, I know that I was saying that blocking is not a big deal because these monasteries will score anyway, and Pablo will have enough enough meeples to finish the game. But still, like, you shouldn't make blocking so easy for your opponents, because there are still 3 crossroad tiles where szigfrid could block and also gain 2 extra points. Now, I think I understand the idea behind this move. The idea is the fact that it almost guarantees the security of at least 1 meeple. So imagine if szigfrid goes over here, blocks the square, then when Pablo pulls a monastery, instead of going over here, he'll just go over here, start a new 5-point monastery, and get his meeple back. So something like this. Also, szigfrid now decides that he's in a bit of a pickle, so he needs to use a shielded tile, not as a quick tile for road scoring, but instead he just wants to build a bigger city himself. Maybe with a bunch of Dorito, and if you manage to complete the city, then this tile will be worth 4 points rather than 2, so this is trying to be as efficient as possible with such a disadvantage on the scoreboard. Pablo could try going over here, but that would be a mistake. So the idea of going over here with a Dorito would be to connect this little guy with this little guy with the blocked red meeple, but there are still 2 vertical splitter tiles to separate them. This is something that szigfrid knows, so Pablo instead does not go over here and just continues his city of his own. So I really like what the Argentinian is doing strategically. He kind of realized that his chances on the ruin were a little bit low, so he invested the minimal effort in it, whilst he used all the shielded tile really efficiently on the left. So 3 shielded tiles in which he managed to capitalize. Here's the 4th one that will give Pablo another 8-point city. Should be quite painful for szigfrid and all the Hungarian fans. Yeah, so kind of this was the idea of Pablo's monastery move. I still think just using sort of the more normal monastery square is a little bit better, or is it? Wait, let me think about this. Maybe the Argentinian is a genius. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, actually. Okay. So I was criticizing this move, but the more I think about it, the more I like it, or maybe I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. So I think I know the idea. Another idea behind this move. The reason why Pablo didn't want to go over here is because there are still so few curvy tiles remaining, so few curves. There's only 1 curve remaining, which means that, so imagine if the red monastery is over here, right? And then there's no tile here. Then szigfrid can just place, let's say, well, he can draw the last curve, place over here, and make sure that this square is completely blocked because there are no curves remaining. But now pretty much the same thing is possible. He can just go over here and block this square. So, I mean, the idea is nice, but just sometimes easier is better. szigfrid now trying to break Pablo's city. And it's a great tile for Pablo now. He gets to go over here and set up a monastery for himself, of which there are still 3 remaining. szigfrid can finish his city now, but actually I think he shouldn't. I think he should go here and cover up his top city first, create an additional invasion platform on the red city, and only then, with 2 more city caps, finish this guy and this guy. Now, this city's fairly safe. That's the main thing about it. Yeah, exactly, that's why he does this. He does not want red to easily invade. Red will probably just get his meeple back, and then szigfrid will finish 1 and the other city. So, like, if you were ahead or if the score were equal, it would be just more important to get at least 1 meeple back. But now, in order to win, szigfrid still needs both of them. It's just a bit inconvenient that he needs city caps for both of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, there's still 2 Doritos remaining. And szigfrid doesn't really have a good way to use Doritos. So But having 2 unproductive tiles in the pool with 15 remaining, maybe it's not such a big deal. Normally, of course, you want to set yourself up so that pretty much every single tile is useful for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh wait, or is it 9? 4. Yeah, 9 Doritos. Okay, so only 1 Dorito remaining actually. So szigfrid is perfectly fine. All right, so Pablo gets a meeple back. Also creates a little 6-point field, which can be taken care by somebody here. szigfrid with another useless tile, sadly. Well, I guess this slight advantage that this means that red is not going to go here, and red is not going to equalize this 3-point city with this 4-point city. So 1 point gain for red, probably going to end up being inconsequential. What do we do? What do we even do? Probably just discarding this tile is the way to go. What do I mean by discarding? Here? Is this worth a blocking attempt? Maybe. Yeah, actually, maybe we just go here. I really like it. I really like it. The idea, of course, is to, well, restrict some options that go here, because there's still multiple monasteries remaining. Now, of course, Pablo will go here, but at least this means that he will not be able to go here either. Yeah, look at this. Look at this beauty over here. So many points. Well, szigfrid gets the curve. That would have been over here. Did I say szigfrid gets the curve? Of course, the curve. He's szigfrid with a Z. There's some ideas of actually placing this curve here and then trying to draw a crossroad tile, take 4 extra points, and then add those cities here directly to the field. But probably a better move is just to go over here. And no. No. We can't make blocking moves when we're minus 40. Like the restriction was fine in and of itself. But szigfrid is trying. Okay, so first of all, I think the best move was just to go here, drop a farmer, and then make sure that you have a 9-point field extra when you finish this city. Now, the reason I don't like this block is, first of all, with 10 tiles remaining, it's not really a big deal if red finishes our monastery. The second thing is that red had only 2 tiles that fit here. A vanilla city cap and a Dorito. Now, the vanilla city cap should not count because we need the vanilla city cap anyway. So we need the vanilla city cap over here. But as for the regular Dorito, which is still in the deck, restricting it is really not going to be helpful because, well, first of all, you might draw the Dorito yourself. But second, after this move, you are setting up your opponent's Dorito to create far more damage. If you do this, your opponent is just going to go over here and invade your city. On the other hand, there's still a splitter, which green might draw. But, like, basically, the rule of thumb that is surprising to most players. In the endgame, don't block. Just don't block. So meeples are way more valuable in the early game. Now points are more valuable. Yeah, you see szigfrid starts a new city, and Pablo now might. But I guess probably gonna go here and do some restrictions, take quick points. But he also might go over here and just drop a farmer anyway. Yeah, and anyway, like this block, it's not so much about the block itself. It's just foregoing this 9-point field seems to be something that we cannot afford as green at all. Pablo is asking why do I think... Yeah, why? Sorry. Basically, my chat was renewing slowly again, so I'm not sure when exactly you sent those. So Pablo was asking, why do I think szigfrid put a tube on the north is not in the south? I'll tell you why. So here, he didn't put this in the south because he's trying to finish both cities, and this city was already safe enough. So imagine if this tile was already here, then placing a tube in the south would make more sense, because in addition to adding the points, it would guarantee better safety for the city. But here, he was just simply trying to secure the city a little bit. He was trying to prevent those ideas of maybe red drawing a triple city and trying to connect his bottom meeple at the top, which was still an idea in that moment. Hi, 71 Knives. Oh, thank you for correcting me that if you end up losing in the loser's bracket, in some cases you need to win a whopping 6 matches in order to qualify to the group stage. Really? Up to 6? Well, we'll need to check that for sure. Interesting, 2 quick points for Pablo without any additional restrictions. He kind of figured that szigfrid can't really finish all his meeples. And I think another mistake here from szigfrid, it could be it seems counterintuitive, but given the low number of tiles remaining and your disadvantage, you should be farming here for 3 points. Because szigfrid's idea is that he will need to now spend a meeple every single turn, and he might end up with a meeple surplus. Because now he needs to finish, let's say, this city, drop a farmer here. Yep, exactly. And then he's going to need to finish this city, drop a farmer here, because he needs to hope that his every next tile is going to be a city cap, that he draws all the remaining city caps, of which they are still a couple. And if that happens, especially given the fact that some of them are splitters, like this one and like this one, which is still in the deck, he, in all likelihood, will be able to gain quick points like on every move of his game. So not placing a farmer here could end up scoring him 3 points. And then you may ask, well, but what happens if he doesn't draw city caps on every turn? Well, the answer is if he doesn't draw city caps on every turn, he's losing anyway, especially if after Pablo places a 6-point monastery here himself. Also interesting, something I just noticed, that the main field, as nice as it looked, is worth only like 9 points. szigfrid with a scoring tile, yeah, this is exactly the kind of stuff that I was talking about. So he does get the city cap, and he still has 2 meeples to spend. Pablo, unabashed, probably going to maybe invade Green City, or not. Now, I guess that's not such a good idea, because there's a splitter, allows us to score easy points. Maybe red can also somehow invade the field, although I don't see that easily happening. Ooh, I know! We go over here, and we set up the last monastery. Bam! Because there's still 1 more remaining, and red drew 5 of them. And if we go here, just go here, no meeple, then if green draws a city cap, then we can draw the monastery. And yeah, he does draw the city cap. He will go over here. Oh, no. He will go over here for 9 points, of course. This is what he should do. 2 meeples still to spend. Yeah, very nice 9-point farm here. Pablo gets the monastery. Very smart setup. And one of those rare games, it could be the first game on stream, or one of the very, very rare games, certainly the first one on stream this year, where one side gets 6 monasteries, which only happens once every 80 games statistically. Not once every 64 games, as you might expect, because with such a large number of tiles, the approximations of power of 2 pretty much stops working. It's not in 164, it's about 1 in 80 games. Oh, well, and of course a nice move here from szigfrid, getting 3 road points and also expanding his bottom field to 12. Real, like, massive scoring here by szigfrid towards the end. It's just the only issue that it was a little bit too late. And of course, some nice... Yeah, the thing with setting up this monastery, it may look lucky that Red drew it, but Red knew that if Green were to draw the monastery, then Green would not be able to score so much with his city caps. So that's kind of the idea when you're ahead. If your opponent's fishing for a particular tile, then you make sure that you try and set up whichever is the other tile that your opponent is looking for. And then you can benefit from either drawing the tile that you want or simply from drawing the tile that your opponent wants and denying him whichever the point scoring opportunity he was setting up. So 25-point advantage from Pablo. I mean, it's very hard to defeat a run out where your opponent has 6 monasteries, but I kind of felt that the Argentinian managed to out-strategize the Hungarian here because he took advantage of his all good tiles very well. So he managed to capitalize on 4 shielded tiles out of the 5 shielded tiles that he drew. Szigfrid managed to only capitalize on 2 shielded tiles out of the 5 shielded tiles that he drew. So of course Pablo drew kind of the more flexible shielded tiles, the 2-sided and the 3-sided ones, and Szigfrid drew a bit more of the 4-sided ones. Well, I guess also this one also drawn by Pablo. This was, but still, this was part of Szigfrid's city. And also the way Pablo built up his monastery was very nice. Once that he set up this other monastery spot next to his main monasteries, not only were there 5 monasteries remaining in the deck, making it extremely likely to capitalize, but also this setup is quite hard to block. The only way Szigfrid could have created a blocking platform was to add points to Red's monastery, which is not something that he's gonna do. So yeah, credit goes here to the Argentinian player, and now Szigfrid will need to really work for it if he wants to win. Both players are saying they're about to have a 2-minute break, but I believe after my rant, this 2-minute break must have been already over, but not really. So we will need to wait a little bit. And this is the time where I can address the earlier questions. So Pablo was asking, tell me about the Brazilian team championships. So basically the way Brazilian team championships work, it's, I guess, a hybrid between club football and the World Team Carcassonne Online Championship format. They are teams and they work like football clubs, so anybody can organize into a team, and every team is allowed 1 foreign player, 1 non-Brazilian, and I happen to be the 1 non-Brazilian in the team Piratas de Carcassonne, the Pirates of Carcassonne, but you know, there's some other high-level players. You know, Otto Ikonen Nallerheim is playing. I forgot for which team, to be honest. I think it was Gildafer. Then Marian Kurkan is playing in the team The Martians, which is even named after him. Elias Muchan, Complex VNH, is playing in Vale dos Aventureiros. So there's also some Japanese players. Shud is playing. So yeah, so kind of every team has 1 foreigner, and the formats is also very similar to football. There is a group stage with 5 teams per group. It's a round robin. The top 2 teams advance to the quarterfinals, and we were the ones that didn't advance. Last year we got 3rd place in the entire championship, and this year we didn't hit the playoffs. So unfortunately the championship is over for us, but now I believe it's already in its semi-final stages, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, hey, Victor. Victor Besson is in the chat. No, how could I possibly forget about this championship? Hi, Rui Costa. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Oh yeah, and the difference from the World Championship format is that all matches are played 3 versus 3 instead of 5 versus 5, but each team is allowed bigger rosters, up to 7 players, so not every player plays every game. Alright, and now we have an open position here in the second game, which is looking really good for szigfrid, despite the fact that Pablo has the first monastery and the advantage on the scoreboard with the city. szigfrid has just 4 points less, but he has a 4-point road, and he has the tempo on the main farm. In this game, the farm will matter quite a lot, so much so that actually, as szigfrid, I would consider dropping a farmer over here, with the idea that whoever gets a tile here, one of the 9 remaining curves, they will drop a farmer for like 12 points already. And this 12-point field could in some cases be shut down to the top with something like a horse, and then separates it from the main field via that square. Of course, the risk of meepling this farm is getting blocked with just 6 points, but the risk is fairly small. And also the reason why I like this move a lot is that it prevents, somebody dropping a farmer here and attacking the main field, and it also starts a potential blocking attack, which of course Pablo now neutralized, but it starts blocking attack against this green monastery over here. Now, by the way, the colors have flipped. It is the Hungarian with red and the Argentinian with green, and this is exactly the kind of stuff I was talking about. By dropping a farmer, szigfrid could have prevented this 12-point farmer over here. But still, some chances to maybe drop a farmer here and equalize. But the main idea is that now szigfrid will need to spend more tempos and try to work harder against that 12-point field. And if Pablo just manages, let's say, drew the tile that szigfrid just drew and go like upstairs, he'll cover up nicely, and with these 12 points, which is a perfectly more than worthy investment for a meeple and just one tile, then he doesn't even need to connect it to the main field of red. So red's field is now worth only 9 points. With all these green squares, it will be worth way, way, way more. And we can see that szigfrid is actually trying to block this square. And honestly, as Pablo, I would help szigfrid here. Oh, sure, you want to block my 12-point field? Oh, yeah, please, go ahead. So, like, Pablo, you know what Pablo might do? Which a move I would really like? Going over here with a meeple on the city, putting a thorn into this road, and kind of trying to build up a ruin and block this square. So block his own meeple together with red's meeple, so kind of like playing really, really small ball, and just preserve this 12-point field. Or, worst case scenario, we actually get to complete that city, but whilst we're building it up, we're making sure that this red meeple is never going back. Instead, green goes for like more normal city placement, goes over here. Now szigfrid will need to think this out a little about this, but maybe probably going here and creating a blocking platform against this monastery. No truly useful moves. Maybe going here and creating some blocking chances against this city. So a tile of marginal utility here for szigfrid. But yeah, it seems this move is okay, but actually no, I don't really like it. I mean, I just think that this move was way, way better strategically, because the idea of blocking your own field with 12 points that could really turn the shape of the board in something that's easier for the Argentinian to control with his slight lead with the monastery and so on and so on. The reason I don't like this move strategically is that it opens up this field even further with the potential for a 4-point road, and then this city will be part of the main farm as well. And then, if you expand the main field by too much, then what's going to happen is that maybe this 12 farmer does get blocked, but then somehow szigfrid manages to use his meeple majority in the south, to try and build up a field which far, far exceeds 12 points. Maybe like 24 with the majority of one meeple, something like this. So Pablo now continues his city on the left. And szigfrid now probably gonna occupy this ruin because it's already like worth enough points. Although in positions where farm are important, you really don't want to be spending too many points on cities. But this is annoying enough for his opponent because now Pablo cannot easily continue his monastery. He will be forced to add a city points to szigfrid, and in some scenarios actually szigfrid can finish the city with a bunch of Doritos surprisingly quickly. So I'd probably still do it with 5 meeples remaining. It's a move that gives you like immediate 7 points. And also there isn't really a better move, and this is why exactly the Hungarian does it. But the main reason why I like this move on the right so much is that it would cover up this field from the north. Because szigfrid, with starting this new road, I think he intends to draw something like a crossroads and place the crossroads over here with the farmer and then connect with the curve. So of course he intends to connect to this 12-point field, and starting the city over here by green would have prevented it. So Pablo now with the crossroad tiles, fantastic tile. I guess you really want to go here, score 3 points. First of all, it is the largest number of points currently available with that move. Second, this breaks this loop road. Third, it drops a city cap somewhere which is not szigfrid's field. The downside of that move, it does create an attacking platform against Pablo's city, but 3 points are worth the attacking platform, I would say. Of course, there's some other alternatives, like we could go here and take 2 points, but 2 points is 1 point less than 3. It's nah. And then, of course, a move that we shouldn't do, that we should pretty much never do, is just using the city cap over here, which is really a waste of a city cap and kind of a clunky way to finish the city, given that some of the road city tiles have already gone out, whereas we have plenty of Doritos to do something like this. But let's see what Pablo does here. Like, neither of the moves which are available in this position are perfect. Like, neither of the moves are just fantastic and no-brainers. So the reason why I like scoring the road points is just because it's the best option that I see available, but not it's the perfect. Like, there is the downside. You're gonna have to pay the price of opening that city connection platform, except that in this instance, I believe that this price is worth the 3 points. Oh, thank you for clarifying this. Yeah, because of the odd number of tiles, 6 monasteries for the second player is even less than 1 in 80. Yeah, so 1.36% versus 1.13. Wow, what a move. I don't like it. I can understand in those, but I don't like it one bit. So it's creative, though, I'll give you that. 3 points, of course, are great, but with this orientation, Pablo is saying, I'm setting up 2 features, the road, so the 3-point road and the 4-point city. So maybe if you take the 4-point city, I take the 3-point road. If I take the 3-point road, you take the 4-point city. The problem that if szigfrid takes the 4-point city, then this square is a bit vulnerable, given the fact that 3 road Dorito tiles are already out. So it kind of like messes with this idea a little bit. Also, I'm surprised how quickly Pablo took 2 points instead of adding the city over here. Maybe is Pablo quite optimistic about his capacity to draw Doritos. On the other hand, this move is really, really nice for restricting red's field. So at least these cities now are going to be on the other side. But yeah, but the reason I didn't like this placement is actually it's a bit high variance. There is, I forgot what the chance, what the probabilities was. I should actually go and review it, but there is a significant chance of your opponent drawing both the city cap and the curve. The way it's possible, for example, with a sequence like curve, curve, city cap, city cap. So let's say he draws a curve, scores 3 points. Now we draw a curve and we can't use it. Then on his turn, he draws a city cap, and then we draw a city cap and can't use it. So kind of we can be one tile behind for both of these coin flips, and it is entirely possible. Also, like, after I won my first game, and the way this game is developing, I know with my 12-point field in the monastery, I kind of like my position if I'm green. It's a slight advantage, but I really like my position long term, so I wouldn't want to add extra variance where it's unnecessary. Szigfrid starts monastery by himself, which also has the nice advantage of having 2 other monastery spots available to him. So Red is maybe thinking of plotting revenge for last game's Pablo's onslaught of monasteries. Szigfrid will not be able to draw all 6, but if he draws just 2 more, this is already a boatload of points. Pablo with a city tile. Now we can see how annoying this little thorn is. You know what? I start thinking that maybe still the move is actually to just go here and to leave 3 tiles that fit into that square. But this move is, of course, also understandable. It's way safer. But now Szigfrid has a fantastic move in mind that works for him. He can just go over here and take this new city and also block this 3-point road from his opponent. This city, if you meeple it, is incredibly hard to block because if you place a straight road over here, there's still going to be 3 dagger tiles left into this square because this city would need a left-hand dagger. And if his opponent attacks, well, that's fine. It's just a meeple per meeple. So I think no-brainer going over here. Not really much to think about, but instead I think he plays a bit too conservatively. It's not a bad move starting a new city in a safer place, but it just does not create enough of a threat. The other move was simply more points. Green gets one of his 2 remaining Doritos, which is extremely fortunate. The reason why it's extremely fortunate because there were 5 regular Doritos, and chances were that he would have to draw one of the 5 regular Doritos first, and then he would kind of have to make the difficult decision of whether to place the Dorito over here and commit to the 2 remaining road Doritos. But now that he's able to draw the road Dorito first, this move for him here is a no-brainer, as there are plenty of field Doritos, or even the 1 remaining road Dorito will fit over here, or in worst case scenario, plenty of triple city plus city cap combinations. So that's a fantastic draw here from Pablo. Szigfrid continues his city at the top. Pablo has a variety of options, can probably finish his city at the top there. Maybe going he starts a new one instead. That is interesting. And also dropping, also restricting Szigfrid's road a little bit. It does kind of forego the idea of isolating this small field. Instead, he wants to start developing his field instead. So really does not want to go for the small ball plays. Szigfrid finishing his city on the left, starting a new one. Pablo probably going to finish his city over here. Don't really see a better play. Going over here, if you go at the top, then you leave the city vulnerable to a block, actually really vulnerable. If Szigfrid doesn't finish his city, if Pablo doesn't finish his city immediately, which, okay, I can't possibly see how this can be correct move. Like, I can't possibly see how this cannot be a triple mistake. First of all, you're finishing the safe city instead of a vulnerable city. Now that Szigfrid drew a tile over here, then there's nothing there. This is the last starting tile remaining. So with any Dorito, Szigfrid can add just 1 point to Pablo and block the city entirely. Second reason, you are giving your opponent an easy 6-point field to invade from, whereas earlier it was not such an easy 6-point field, because let's say if you leave the city cap open, your opponent invades, you still leave yourself the chance of then drawing a city cap and then dropping another farmer. So kind of still maintaining the majority in the north part of the board. And third reason, out of all the city cap possible in the deck, this is the worst one to finish this city, because it allows szigfrid easy access to this road end over here for his 5-point road, with a meeple which otherwise needs to work for recovery. Moreover, there are some very nice sequences that szigfrid can draw now. That's actually an interesting one. Yeah, that's really nice. He is continuing his city at the bottom, still having some threats of finishing this city later, and also drops a farmer for an easy invasion over here. But the sequence does not stop. As Pablo will now meeple this monastery as he should, okay, he chooses to meeple one on the other side, not sure exactly why that is. szigfrid now can make, a move like this, but there was also another possibility, dropping a curve, dropping a farmer over here, and then using a straight line to finish this road and connect 2 red farmers to this farmer at the same time. So now Pablo, at the very least, will be able to... but what should he do? That's a great question. There are many options here. Now that this farm at the top is worth 15 points, Pablo now could score 3 points, but I don't think we have the time for that. I think we need to do something more strategically significant. So option 1, we go over here and we drop a farmer ourselves, and this is what he opts for. Option 2 was going here and blocking this square, but I like this farmer first. It kind of makes sure that we're going to have a majority in the north, and then there are even some opportunities to block the south and then have our 15-point farm for ourselves. Also, as Pablo, I think I even like to keep things a bit more closed with the curve pointing down, even though it gives us a smaller number of tiles available to connect. So, for example, Pablo's idea is that he's now able to draw a curve or a straight line that would allow him to connect here and maybe even create a blocking threat against the city, which is, of course, very, very nice. So szigfrid scores quick points and also makes this square a bit more restricted, making it harder to block that. And because red has 9 points on this field and green has 15, red has the incentive to connect over here with any of the 4 remaining field Dorito tiles that fit here. So now Pablo can connect to the field, which he'll probably do, but even though it's now still possible, I still would have preferred the orientation of the curve facing down, because it's just lower variance. Even though it gives a small number of tiles, because there are 2 directions, here and here, it's still enough of a number of tiles that allow us to connect, but then this field will be a bit more closed. Because now, for szigfrid, there's some opportunity of maybe getting a curve at the end of the game and trying to a ninja farmer for a field takeover. And this is an opportunity that I do not like leaving for my opponent necessarily, because it looks like szigfrid has more points on the scoreboard, but actually I still probably slightly prefer Pablo's position because he's a bit early on the field and because of his city over here, which is going to score 10 or 12 points, depending on whether his last Dorito has a shield or not. Then he's going to have the same number of meeples as his opponent and a slight advantage still. But then on the other hand, if szigfrid manages to block this meeple, which is a real possibility, as I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, then it is red who has the slightly better position. szigfrid now playing extremely conservatively, using a city cap to connect to the field. The reason why I'd say it's extremely conservative is because it's not like a super urgent move, it's a +6 move, and there's still 4 Doritos remaining to do that. Well, I guess no, maybe... like it's still, of course, very conservative, but I do not necessarily mean that in a bad way. It's a nice farmer to take care of. There's some positional downsides. Like if you are to use a Dorito here, it gives nothing back. But a city cap gives back some massive farming opportunities over here, like setting up a connection through a monastery. So let's say if Pablo draws a Dorito, well, of course he's going to use here, but if Pablo draws another Dorito afterwards, or if he draws the one remaining cow tile, he can go over here and drop a farmer like this and connect through a monastery, for example. So now that szigfrid goes over here for 7 points, I don't think that will be the case. But now that szigfrid is thinking, I think he's really considering foregoing the monastery. With 30 tiles remaining, it's an option. Yeah, it's just too good. Like 7 points is just too good. It's easily blockable, but there are still chances to complete it. Like with a couple of Doritos, also completing it in such a way that completely restricts the field from further attacks. And blocking this might require some point sacrifices. So let's say, yeah, you see, so Pablo could have gone over here, but instead he doesn't because he wants to score these 3 points. So this gives us a bit more time as szigfrid to actually go over here and try to do something. Now we get a curve. It's an extremely interesting move here. I don't think we have anything useful, but we can decide first on a couple of options. First of all, do we place this tile over here? Are we actually trying to complete this monastery? I don't think we are, because these two monasteries cancel each other out very nicely. Ooh, what a volatile move, and szigfrid chooses to make a move which gives a city restriction opportunities, right? He's trying to get a straight line and then block this meeple, or at least attempt doing so. But this move gives back a massive farming opportunity, which Pablo now absolutely has to use. So you go over here, you drop a farmer, and you set up an unblockable field. Oh, come on, you have to be kidding me. How do you not see that? Like, the move here, as why? Like, do you see that? You can go over here, drop a farmer. There were still 4 curves available for like a 94% chance of getting a 5-point road and a majority on the field, which is extremely hard to deal with. I mean, I guess like this is the sort of the more natural move, but it does not benefit. It does not just benefit green at all. So, and also this move was placed very quickly, so I don't think it was a conscious decision. I think it was just simply a miss of this farming opportunity, and one that is quite likely to decide this game, as szigfrid wisely forgoes the 4 points. And I'll tell you why. Because if szigfrid were to score 4 points over here, first of all, this would be just 3 points because he would be adding 1 point to green's monastery. This would be opening up the field a lot, and this would enable Pablo to get a regular Dorito and drop a farmer over here, and then connect to main field, which is very, very hard to deal with for szigfrid. So now he instead blocks the square, or at least leaves only 1 tile that goes there. And now it is indeed much harder for green to finish that city. Oh, Wisemaze is saying, reminds me a bit of your second game against Migots. That, of course, referring to the upset that recently happened that I was not able to stream because I was away. So Nalerheim lost 1-2 against the Australian player with the screen and Migot no skill, who, by the way, already appeared to this channel, but you might not remember. Only my most devoted viewers will remember one of the first videos of a review of the semifinals of the 2021 Mind Sports Olympiads, which I happened to win. And I played that semifinals exactly against the player with screen name Me Got No Skill, a self-deprecating screen name which is no longer valid because they massively increased both their rating and their skill level. But I haven't seen that game yet. So, of course, we now know the result. But do let me know if after this stream today you would like an analysis of that game. If we so if we get, let's say if we get 3 comments saying that you would like an analysis, then I'm doing it, like right after this. Right, so Pablo does score the 4-point road, but I think as szigfrid, we can actually survive this. We have, I think as szigfrid, like strategically, we just need to maintain parity on the field, and then we just need to block the city successfully, either by drawing the Dorito ourselves, or by placing a sequence of road tiles to completely eliminate farming opportunities. Yeah, and then the idea is that this monastery cancels out this, these 2 monasteries cancel each other out, and this ruin is bigger than this restricted 4-point city, and they're equal on the scoreboard. So szigfrid is like ahead, technically. And so then Pablo, in order to win, if he doesn't finish the city, he would need to probably fight for this field, which is a very closed field. It's actually quite tricky to do. So let's, as Pablo is thinking where to place the straight line, and the answer I think is probably here, although that is super, super dangerous. Or maybe here. Yeah, here's probably better. But both moves are really dangerous and very interesting. We're going to look at them in a second. Instead, he goes here to farm. Yay! Yes. Oh, this is just pure beauty. So I was going to talk about kind of some farming opportunities. Because one is sort of at the top, once all crossroads are eliminated through the outside of a curve. But also, this is a really nice geometry here. So Pablo has calculated that... Oh, look at this. This, like, there are still all 3 daggers remaining that fit into that square. So that gives him, like, a close to 90% chance to connect. But also, this square is completely unblockable. Because there's nothing that fits into this square anymore. Because, you know, all these 3 right-handed dagger tiles have gone out. But even if they hadn't gone out, placing the dagger tile over here actually does nothing to restrict this square. So that's a really, really nice idea. Now szigfrid is trying to block the city, which is of course of strategic significance. Pablo can now go over here and sets up an 8-point city in addition to his field connection. How good is that move? And moreover, it does something else. It eliminates the opportunity for szigfrid to get a straight line and drop a farmer over here, which is something he could have done on his last move, but he decided that blocking this city is strategically important, and I believe that he is correct. And oh man, this just gonna get super, super exciting towards the end. Hi Sergey. All right, we got our 3 comments. So we are having, we are analyzing Nalheim's game right after this. Also, do let me know which was, so that was the last game, the decider, right? And that we need to look at. Hi, Napalm. Pablo now with the monastery, and I think the thing that he's thinking is whether it's worth placing it over here as a defense tile. To kind of sacrificing 3 points to make it so that it is harder to block that square. Because you see, the problem is, and he decides to do it. The problem is, well, actually, the problem is twofold. The problem is that if szigfrid gets a straight line, not only does he block his meeple, he can actually also drop a farmer and try to connect through the outside of a curve. But then this move also sets up a field connection. If szigfrid drops a tile over here, he might sacrifice the 4 points and just drop a farmer to try and connect over here like this. And this gets very interesting. Yeah, but another move that I was thinking that we could have done as green was just taking 3 points over here with the idea of eliminating this connection platform from the outside. But on the other hand, if we go over here and take these 3 points, it creates a new connection platform like this, through a straight line, dropping a meeple on the outside of a curve and connecting over here. Because with a monastery, this square would also be part of a field. So that's very interesting how every move, even simple, even a move which has a different primary purpose, so like a move which has the purpose of scoring, a move which has the purpose of indirect defense of a city, that each move has consequences on the geometry of the board and just either gives back or eliminates farming opportunities. Now, there's still plenty of farming opportunities available. For example, there's some low prob opportunities as well. So somebody can go over here, for example, drop a farmer and try to connect through the outside of a curve like this, which, by the way, is an opportunity that Pablo now eliminates. But maybe as Pablo was better to go over here instead. szigfrid interestingly drew a city cap and did not meeple it, and I think the reason is such that if Pablo chooses to take these 4 points, it immediately gives back a connection platform which szigfrid is going to use. And also Pablo needs city caps, well, 3 out of the multiple remaining city caps. He actually needs them over here anyway. Also, the number of the city caps which are not daggers are really limited. And look at this, szigfrid just kind of now spending a lot of moves on trying to create connection platforms. Because he realizes, like, sooner or later, this meeple is going to make his way into the field and he really needs to try and find something to equalize. Okay. Are we back? Let's see here. Do let me know if we're back. At least we should be. I know that I'm seeing the game again, and of course not the best meeple for the stream to have dropped. But yeah, unfortunately I got so excited that I dropped an object on the wire that was connecting my laptop to whatever it was charging, and that's why we lost connection for a moment. Thank you, Wise Mates, for confirming this. Alright, so yeah, szigfrid bit the bullet, so we can see this tile over here, and in the end, of course, he's getting those juicy 8 city points, and I think now the only thing that szigfrid needs to do after this is to connect to the field. But first of course, he needs to complete this block. I don't think we can allow Pablo to invade here. And now that I look at this, so making this move might look not ideal. Because no. Oh, is that a misclick? No, that isn't. Oh, that's actually a great move. Yeah, because no, that's all good. It doesn't matter which direction to place this, because whilst my laptop was doing its thing, this tile was drawn, and szigfrid scored 4 points for a road. So this move is actually a block. This move disallows a dagger plus triple city tile sequence to finish the city. Leaves only a Dorito-shaped hole. But of course, there are no Doritos remaining. But szigfrid can still connect to the field the normal way. I think given the fact that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 crossroads are out, I think we can probably just be okay with going up top. Oh, no, of course, taking the 4 points is good first. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And also there's a chance of dropping a farmer here. And, going for a 50-50 connection through a curve. But also, we can see that in the way this dynamic now plays out is that Pablo's still ahead because of his scoreboard, not the scoreboard, but lead on the farm. Or is he actually? I mean, szigfrid did score a lot of quick points. And so the main dynamic of the last couple of moves has been szigfrid creates a field connection platform, Pablo blocks. Look at Pablo placed the tile over here to block, Pablo placed the tile over here to block. And the strategy of Pablo will be to simply try and block the field. But now, do we have to do that? Because I think a move that Pablo wants to do is just go over here and block this platform, but maybe instead we should try and drop an extra farmer of our own. How about we go here, finish our monastery, start a new city, and threaten ourselves to get a city cap if there is one. I believe there still is one, not sure. No, there is. At least one dagger. This might be the only city cap. But then we're creating a threat of drawing a city cap and dropping a farmer. So, drawing, thank you. Oh, this is great. Yeah, because obviously I need to reset wait. We're gonna get that. Drawing. Yeah, drawing's back. All right, perfect. So, yes, grab new crayons. I do appreciate your quick reactions a lot. Well, anyway, I was so you see, so szigfrid does go for this 50-50 platform. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, indeed, only one curve remaining. But as Pablo, maybe you shouldn't be that much afraid of it. So, yeah, we can go over here. Meeple the city just for pure points. And also we're creating back another field connection platform, which we can maybe use. As szigfrid, now we got to think, do we add this to our opponent or not? Also, we need to really count, are we winning if we get the farming opportunity here, or are we not winning? Because szigfrid has an extra monastery now that Pablo has completed, has 7 points on the scoreboard, and has the big ruin. Okay, so now that szigfrid is thinking whether to place this tile to add points to himself, or whether to place the tile to eliminate a field connection platform, and makes all these calculations, or maybe just he goes here to eliminate a city cap in his opponent's field. There's plenty of options here. He just adds a point. If anybody in the chat has done the point counting, that would be very much appreciated, because there's just so much going on. Pablo with a monastery. Maybe just gonna go here and get his 6 points over here. Maybe he wants to go somewhere else and create another platform for field connection. I'm not sure why he would do that. Alright, so Pablo has 7 points in the cities to equalize on the scoreboard. szigfrid has 7 for the monastery. Pablo has 6, so szigfrid has 1 extra, and he has 8 points over here. So szigfrid is +9. Pablo just dumps the monastery. szigfrid gets the field connection. szigfrid gets the equality on the field, and with that, Pablo's only chance to win is to equalize the field himself. szigfrid will go here in a heartbeat. I'm not sure what he's thinking about. Maybe just can't believe his luck. But Pablo now needs to reconnect again. He needs to go over here up top, drop a farmer, because there's still a curvoid tile remaining. There is still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, there is a 6th dagger remaining. That will give Pablo a 33% chance to win the game. 1 in 3. Thank you, Wise Mate, for confirming. So plus 20 without field. Yeah, is it? So 9 of the monasteries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so plus 20 on the field. The field is worth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ah, the field is only worth 24. So now szigfrid is 40 is... Yeah, so Pablo, ooh, it's very wise. He chooses to connect here on the outside so that he can also benefit from an extra monastery point when connecting, but anticlimactically szigfrid draws the dagger tile immediately, the one that Pablo would need to take over this field. But I believe that maybe even without this tile, szigfrid would have won. If Pablo were to take over the field, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 completed cities, that's worth 24 points. He's going to get another one from the monastery. If you were to connect, that's plus 5. But all szigfrid needs to do is just simply use any tile to claim this 6-point field and win with a 1-point difference. And... of course, anticlimactically, szigfrid's going to win by a lot more, or, you know, unless he loses on time, hopefully he doesn't. Just use this tile to score some 4 quick points. Maybe he's checking if there is still a curve void remaining for Pablo to reconnect. No, there isn't. Okay, that's unnecessary, I think. Oh, or maybe just szigfrid decides to go for style points. Wait, it's... yeah. No. That was actually a rather dangerous move. That kind of gave Pablo a couple of points. So that's clearly a miscount. So maybe he was thinking that there's still a curve remaining, or there's still a straight line remaining for him to reattack the field. Of course, completely unnecessary. But, you know, it won't matter because just szigfrid is ahead on the scoreboard and some other stuff. As long as he doesn't lose the field, he can lose the game. He can still win the game. Oh, Wisemay is suggesting to just close his opponent's city just for fun. Yeah, that would be a bit of a power move. Showing, you know, I'm so aware of the points that I can give you points and you still lose. Well, anyway, a immensely exciting game for a variety of reasons, really back and forth with this field geometry and the city blocking and so on. Honestly, I kind of felt that the outcome of the first 4 games, for the first couple of games, has been what it should have been. I really liked how szigfrid played this one. You know, this monastery was very nice. The farming attacks, the city blocks, and so on and so on. The end game, well, maybe let's just not think about it. Let me just delete that meeple real quickly. You know, you didn't see anything. And overall, Pablo with a lot of questionable decisions. This game, especially with the city cap over here, kind of creating some opportunities for szigfrid to reattack. Of course, compensating this with an absolute brilliant farmer over here, and being ahead in his winning chances for a while, but szigfrid finally managed to create a platform and invade. So the score is 1-1, which we're now going to put on the screen, and we are headed, as we wanted to a decider. So the next half an hour, but probably more, is going to be some tense moments. Yeah, so szigfrid saying miscounted the curves in the end. Maybe he was thinking that... Wait, so maybe he was thinking that Pablo was still able to invade. So actually, if Pablo was still able to invade, I mean, if you're short on time, and if you know the points, because szigfrid is saying that he miscounted the curve, that he didn't miscount the tiles, then the best thing you can do is just meeple a 6-point field on your own to guarantee yourself a victory with +1. And so we can see that there's a 20-point difference. This meeple scoring 0 points, and this meeple scoring 0 points. If this guy were to connect, he'd be scoring 24. So Pablo would be at +4. If this guy would be over here, he would be scoring 6. So he would be up actually, yeah, 2 points he'd be up. So yeah, that's what it is. And you know what? Let me just go grab a hot beverage for my voice. I have been raising it for a while. Do also let me know how the sound is. I can turn it up, turn it down. I'm extremely paranoid about the sound, and I always will be, at least for the next few months. And we will be right back in 1 minute for the decider. Thank you, confirming that the sound is okay. We are now back. Let's see if the final has already started, and it has. It says 3 minutes ago. Wow, they were quick. Okay, luckily we're here just for the start, as Pablo is the first one to start, and going for the move which points the curve downwards. That's actually interesting, because I figured that there used to be variation like up until last year, but in the last year or so, or in the last couple of years, barely anybody plays this move anymore. It has kind of been shown that the curve pointing upwards is the better starting move. I know a material for another video. I will try and do it sometime. I don't think it will be in this calendar year, as there are a couple of other things backlogged. But so a bit of an untraditional decision here. Szigfrid going for the Lithuanian opening, which I'm actually surprised to see from him, but it is a good move, of course, restricting the city cap. But now the thing, how to follow it up, you have to know this. Going here and meepling the city, that's actually not that bad. But I wouldn't do it. I think a better move is just going here, yeah, starting a new city. But basically, if you're gonna go over here and meeple the city, then you risk 2 meeples getting blocked. But it really depends on which tile you're gonna do it. Like, if you're gonna take a city cap, or if you're gonna take the extender, then meepling this is bad. Because there is a platform on top for your opponent to to create a blocking platform against 2 meeples, and it happens not always, but often enough to be enough of a threat that should avert you from risking 2 meeples like this. With the Dorito, it is a little bit better, because in order for your opponent to create a blocking threat, your opponent would actually need to prolong your own road, and this is not something that can be easily done. If your opponent takes a straight line and goes over here, then your opponent gives you an easy way to defend. Almost any tile can defend, actually. But if your opponent takes a curve and goes over here, after you've placed this meeple like this, then you can get another curve and get yourself not only a defense, but a nice 4-point loop. Still, of course, szigfrid prefers to go over here and start a new city, kind of a bit of a more normal move. If I were in szigfrid's place, I would actually go over here somewhere to not only start the city, but also disrupt the road of red, which now very nicely goes into red's monastery. szigfrid, yeah, that's not a great outcome for szigfrid. This doesn't still make this move wrong, it's still correct to do this, but Pablo now manages to very nicely start a new city and control the square, but szigfrid can now have a variety of options. He can just go here, bail out of the situation, try to have himself a short road, and then maybe attack the city later. The downside is that, you could be helping your opponents with the city. Or he could just go here. Oh, I love this. Yes, that's even better than what I thought. I thought of just doing something usual, casual, placing this tile facing with the road to the left. But this is even more annoying, because this is controlling 2 of red's meeples with just 1 meeple of his own, and now that he has a 3rd monastery, he's now controlling 3 meeples. So, okay, szigfrid chooses to go here. I think szigfrid could have been even more patient and try to place this on the other side, allowing a potential invasion, but still controlling 3 of red's meeples with just 2 of his cities. A really lovely play from the Hungarian so far, and Pablo now goes the route of simply trying to block the square, which as szigfrid I think we should be totally fine with. I don't think we ever go here. If anything, if our meeple just stays here, we're totally fine. And if we are to defend the square, then we're definitely using the curve rather than a straight line. Because, like, if we get the straight line, long term, so short term, our road can be continued, but long term, the prospect of this road are great. And what to do here, actually? Maybe just going here, restrict the square a little bit, create a bit of an invasion platform if necessary. Maybe going over to here, starting to work towards restricting this square. Really interesting game when it comes to all these blocking opportunities. We already have 2 mini battles in 2 different places, and it's not clear exactly which side will need to be the one to chicken out and put a tile into the shared square. Pablo now with a great tile. I think there's a really good move for it, but will he see it? Well, there are a couple of good moves. One move that I really like is going over here on top of our own monastery, starting a new city, then indirectly protecting the square in case we need to, so that we have multiple kinds of threats. We can have a threat of finishing the city if we want to, or we can just still continue the old plan of growing that as a ruin whilst keeping the square blocked or restricted and having our opponents, with a smaller road. So have a slightly advantageous mini battle. Then this move would also expand the monastery. This move is also okay, but it allows a comeback from szigfrid, who undoubtedly will go over here with another annoying meeple on this city. Now it will try to control 2 meeples of red with 1 meeple on green, and we have 3 mini battle spots, 2 of which are, like the quasi-Ukrainian technique, I guess. So the typical Ukrainian would be controlling 2 of your opponent's monasteries with 1 city. Now it's like the quasi-Ukrainian because you're controlling 2 of your opponent's features, 1 of which is a monastery and 1 of which isn't. Oh, what lovely opening. Yeah, now this creates some interesting things. So Pablo starts a new road, creates an invasion square against this city, which I'm not sure what szigfrid should do about this, really. Maybe just going over here and then allowing yourself to have a triple city in this square. Or we don't really have to defend this, because like if Pablo invades, he'll be forced to spend our last meeple. His last meeple. So maybe we could just ignore all those threats and start a new city ourselves. Maybe here, that's annoying enough. Or here, that's also kind of annoying. Some potential options include invading over here, but that's bad. Oh, this option is great, starting a city on the left and actually working towards the complete blockage of this square. And as Pablo, I don't think you care. I don't think you can afford to defend this. I think we just need to pre-finish our road and start working towards recovery of the meeples. We don't finish this road because this tile is too good to do that. And also we need to do something about this square here too, because if we're not careful enough, szigfrid takes a triple city and goes over here. Yeah, so this defense I don't think is worth it at all, given the fact that this square is not completed. But let's see what happens. So szigfrid pre-finishes his city, which is very nice. Only one tile remaining, and this is the one in the shared square. So he's going like, the classic patient route, how you're supposed to play these kind of mini battles. So you build around all the other parts of the city, and the part in the critical square, you place a tile there last. Pablo now decides to try and invade the city, which makes sense, but it will have some consequences. So szigfrid will start with some quick points. Instead, he chooses to finish his city on the left first. So this move exposes an empty city cap, which will now be taken advantage by szigfrid. Or will it? I think actually a stronger move is going over here and meepling a city. Oh, how incredibly annoying that is. So first of all, it makes sure that your opponent cannot recover an easy meeple anywhere except this road. Second, it preserves the majority, the chances to either finish the city or to prolong it with a triple city and a road Dorito tile to make an even larger city with a majority. So yeah, that would seem an incredibly annoying move, and also one that denies our opponent good usage of a city cap. Also, there's some ideas of completing our city with something like a triple city with a road, in which case this square would be either restricted or blocked. We would each have a 1-point city meeple blocked, one green here, one red here, but also this red monastery would be blocked as well, and this is why szigfrid goes for it. Pablo now, with a great tile, still needs to exercise some patience. I think as Pablo, you don't finish the road yet. You still go over here because you want to pre-finish that road first. Because szigfrid eventually will take a city cap over here, and this will make the square vulnerable. I think we need to take care of this first, and then we can finish this road later. There's still plenty of curves to do that. Also, as red, we can have some meeples back if we get the one remaining giraffe's neck or one of the two remaining splitters. Probably would be a good use for that. And then also, if we are red, I guess we are okay with using a tile like this. Yeah, as szigfrid, you don't go there. As szigfrid, you just wait patiently. Of course, the Hungarian is not going to give his opponent's meeple back. This is, by the way, one of his strengths. So he really likes these kind of blocky, close positions. And even though in the last game he managed to win, tie a big field rather, big field fights is not something that he really does a lot. It's mostly of these like closed, blocky games. One thing that needs to be added is Pablo still ahead in the point count, because these monasteries and the roads will score lots of points. It's just Szigfrid has the temporary meeple majority and the temporary scoreboard advantage, which can be converted later into something more tangible. Szigfrid with a road Dorito tile. Probably we can go and start a city cap over here, because it can annoy this square a little bit. If that's something that we're interested in. Oh, static noise, thank you. We can easily fix that. We should be back without static noise, but in case it is not the case, do let me know. Szigfrid just continues his other city, and well, this gives an easy move for Pablo. We just go over here and annoy this guy. I can't really think of anything else meaningful. I guess he's thinking whether to attach the cow tile to Green City directly or placing one to the left. No, Pablo. That's a big mistake, sadly, for a variety of reasons. So first of all, he connects to this city over here. Oh, first of all, it does not block Szigfrid City. This move was actually literally strong. So that's the first reason. Second reason, the main reason, this move creates a vulnerability against this road. Because you have 0 meeples on the board. Oh, and we immediately get to the third reason. The third reason, you deny yourself an opportunity to get bailed out by the splitter. Oh, this is so well deserved. Fourth reason, well, the main reason, no, that was still the second reason. This square is super vulnerable. If Szigfrid gets a straight road, then this poor little guy will be trapped for a long time. Like, when you have only one place to recover a meeple, you really can't afford for this square to be restricted and your opponent to start limiting the number of tiles that can fit there. Because the longer you are without a meeple, oh, it got worse. Okay, let me try again. Okay, do let me know about the noise again. I'm kind of resetting it multiple times. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't touch the mic and that's it. Yeah, the longer you stay without a meeple, the longer you need to make moves like this with point scoring tiles that don't give you any points. So that big mistake costing Pablo twofold. First of all, Szigfrid now successfully finishing his city on the left, which, by the way, would have been already completely blocked. Or close to blocked. No, completely blocked. Because this tile would have been over here, and then there are no starting tiles. No, there is one. Okay, it would be close to blocked. And also another reason why I don't want to connect over here is because this square is not secured. Yeah, exactly that kind of thing. But that's Szigfrid is playing excellently. Wait, what's that? What? Okay, yeah. It seems to me that like Pablo is just on tilt. So going here is also not exactly the strongest move, I believe. Although it makes some sense. It is trying to block the city, which Szigfrid can easily save. going over here, he just needs to double check the number of dagger tiles which fit there, and the number is 2. And then szigfrid will still have an opportunity to finish this city. I think the purpose of this move was to complete this monastery. But if we complete this monastery, it comes at the expense of some city points. I don't think it's quite worth doing it. Yeah, rough situation here for Pablo. Well, at least finally he gets a meeple back. And 4 points on the scoreboard. szigfrid with a curve. He doesn't need to do anything in particular, but maybe let's do something blocky, I guess. Yeah. So maybe we can go here or here. The idea of going here would be just to make sure that we try and block this square here completely, because there's still one starting tile that fits there. Instead, he places it in the other direction, which also makes sense. Kind of saying to Pablo that, you know what, if you are going to complete my city, your city, then make sure that you prolong my road all the way. But the advantage of going the other direction was that if Pablo were to successfully complete this city, this would immediately create a 6-point road for szigfrid to bail him out. But with 17 extra points on the scoreboard and a 2 meeples extra, I think szigfrid is here like a 90% chance to win this game. 3 more quick points. I'm saying 90, it's not 100. Like, Pablo can still do this, and now not only it gives him a chance to get his monastery meeple back, it also nicely sets up a farming opportunity. If he gets over here, he drops a farmer for 9 points immediately, and then some. With like this city cap being here, there's another 9-point field, and if there's a bad tile sequence for szigfrid, kind of Pablo can even set himself up a good position on the field with a meeple minority even. As long as szigfrid doesn't draw these tiles here. Pablo with a curve, not much to do with it. Still technically a chance to finish this city, actually. So how are we doing? There are 2 tiles that fit into that square. There's 1 tile that fits into that square. There is 1 tile that fits into that square. There are 2 tiles that fit into that square. If Pablo draws all that stuff, and szigfrid fails to drop an anticipation farmer as insurance, then maybe Pablo's doing fine. Exactly, now, Naheim. I think you should take this very soon. Not with this tile, because like the 2 points are a little bit better. But knowing szigfrid, he likes to be very protective about such stuff. He's really good at converting leads and closing down the position, just not giving opportunities back to his opponent. So I would not surprise if instead of this move, he just drops a farmer, but he doesn't. He goes here, which I believe is not the best tile to score 2 points. I think the best one was actually over here. Pablo drops some scoring opportunities, and I think this is the moment where at szigfrid you just drop a farmer. Anywhere, sort of take your pick. Maybe something like this? No, it doesn't matter exactly. Yeah, so the reason why instead of this move I preferred another one is because this move kind of gives back the potential for this 6-point road going through Red City, and Red is the only one who can benefit. Okay, so szigfrid trying to fully block that square, which makes sense, but soon he should drop a farmer. Or meeple a monastery, I'm not sure. Like, actually, I'm not sure what the monastery really does for his winning probabilities. I don't think he's completing that quite easily with very few row tiles remaining. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are actually no curves remaining. So then if we go here, I don't think anything meaningful fits into that square. So as szigfrid, I think your best move is just going here and dropping a farmer. As much as I like monasteries, what I like better is finding the best move that leads to the best winning probability. It's just the reason why I like monasteries is because very often meepling the monastery is the best move. In this position, just farming seems meaningful. szigfrid does meeple the monastery for 5 points, which is okay. Okay, so Pablo now, yeah, it is okay, but this meeple is not coming back. So okay, so now that Pablo has taken another set of quick points, now szigfrid will drop a farmer, unless he wants to go here and start a new city, which also would be defensible. But you know what? I once lost a very painful game in the WTCOC, the one which I'm not going to make video about, and one that actually wasn't streamed or wasn't any like particularly well known in any way, where I had a big lead and I could have meepled the farm early on for protection, but I didn't do it. And the reason I didn't do it was because I just kind of took 2 quick points with the crossroads. And then my opponent ended up winning a big field and like winning by 2 points. I also had a big lead at the time, so my opponent made a huge comeback. And there is absolutely room for a huge comeback with a starting tile or with the city. Pablo now with an interesting decision. Yeah, he goes for this. He still wants to preserve the chances of the city alive. I kind of like it. It forces szigfrid to spend the tile on blocking at the very least. An alternative for Pablo was actually going here and farming and then hoping to draw 2 daggers. Which I don't think would have been such a bad move, because obviously if your opponent gets one of the daggers, you lose. But then if you get the 2 daggers, you win, I think, a large chunk of the time. So that would give you overall like a maybe 15% winning chance, which in this situation is pretty good. But Pablo wants to wait. I guess ideally Pablo wants to wait for, he wants to draw the daggers first, and then the tile that fits here to drop his farmer. szigfrid now with a city tile, which does not have a good use. And he's kind of like playing those, normal moves of starting a new city. Then, of course, blocking here is a good idea. Still, a farmer here for Pablo is up in this. I mixed 2 metaphors up in the cards. Whatever, still in the cards. And I guess now that there's this little field, being the first on the field is not essential. So let's say if Pablo draws this tile, drops a farmer, szigfrid can draw another tile and just go for this 9-point field and connect, or just leave this 9-point field as it is. However, there is some possibility that, let's say Pablo goes here, meeples this farm, and then on his very next turn, szigfrid draws some road plus city tile, like this, like one of the 2 remaining, these guys. And then he can't meeple this field. And then he has to do something else. And then after that, Pablo draws like a normal tile. Let's say that goes over here. And then he meeples the other field as well. Okay, now this is the last Dorito of the game. And now it's big decision time for Pablo. Do we risk it all to go here, free up 2 meeples and draw a farmer, but allow our opponent to have still 2 daggers, 2 chances to completely destroy us with a huge city over here. So this gives us a, well, I would say like rather good winning chance, because we would also have maybe like more than 15%, maybe like closer to 17, but instead he does this. So this square is now completely blocked, and I can understand him, because look at this. Szigfrid now cannot finish his city. This is very, very nice. But this also means that these 2 meeples of Pablo are now completely trapped, which means that this guy with the quasi-Ukrainian technique has completed his job in full. Look at this. It's just Red endured so much pain, but Red does get his farmer, and Red does a temporary meeple majority, well, of course, which he now immediately spends it on the farm, but which, Szigfrid does get a farming tile. But imagine, so Szigfrid can now go here, of course, pretty easily, but imagine if Szigfrid had this, then Red would be in trouble. And even now, Red has some winning chances. Let's say Szigfrid goes here. Then Red can drop another farmer here and try to win a big field himself. One thing that I noticed, since there's no tile over here, this city is sadly not in the main field, so the field is a little bit smaller. Thank you, Wise Maze, of pointing out that this city still can technically be finished. You know, there's like a Dorito tile here, triple city tile here, and then a city cap. But it's very difficult to do, and it can be invaded or blocked. I think the idea is to draw a curvy tile here, like a crossroads. Because remember, no regular curves remaining. And then a tile to block the square completely. Or just win the coin flip for the one remaining Dorito that fits here. Szigfrid with a city cap tile. So he will undoubtedly farm. He just is choosing the best position. So technically there are 1, 2, 3. There are 6 options to farm. And I think you go for the one where the city cap is faced inward rather than outwards. Maybe this one is the one that I prefer. One that is still, wait, and Szigfrid ignores the field. I'm trying to think, is that a good idea? Maybe it is. Is he really that far ahead? I don't think so, but let's have a look. He just wants to start a new city. That's really interesting. So Pablo now minus 11, and they're both equal on meeples. Pablo has 12 here, so that's +1. Szigfrid has, man, this road was just excellent. A 10-point road, which is which goes right into a 6-point city, so that's +4 for Szigfrid, so that's +3 overall. 1 point better monastery, 8 versus 7 for Pablo, so that's +2 for Szigfrid. 5-point road versus a 6-point city, that's +3 for Szigfrid. That's +6 for Szigfrid. And of course, with an equal meeple count, it's not such a big advantage. So if Pablo somehow manages to take this 9-point field and then make sure that these 2 fields stay separate, Pablo can win. He would also need to get some quick points, and he started by getting 2 points over here. And now also this city is officially blocked. Of course, Szigfrid will be thrilled to get the Dorito tile anyway, just to give him the extra points. And now Pablo has the chance. He can now go over here and drop another farmer, which I think he should do. Leave a bunch of city caps. And then actually if he goes here, drops a farmer like this, then he has a chance to draw a city cap that at the same time would finish his city and also block the square to connect the fields. So he now really needs to count all the remaining city caps, figure out how this would work out spatially, but I don't think there's any other strategic idea rather than try to get this 9-point field. Of course, if szigfrid connects the two fields successfully, then you've just wasted a meeple. But it seems to be such a good idea. Like, if you can just dodge a couple of roads. Let's see how many road tiles there are. Not so many, so no curves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, only one straight line remaining. So it's actually really quite difficult to connect the two fields. Oh, so thank you for confirming that it is a 9-point road instead of a 10-point road. And Pablo does draw the farmer. szigfrid now with the city cap, and he needs it in a bunch of places. He needs it to finish his city. He also needs it to clean off city caps from Pablo's field. And actually, if we go here and take the 4 points here, we also preserve the chance to draw the one remaining straight line or the crossroads, the T-shaped crossroads, that would allow us to connect these fields. Whereas, if Pablo draws the one remaining vanilla, then Pablo's going to take these 4 points over here, and this will leave a curve-shaped hole, which is no longer fillable. So it really matters which city cap goes there, and this is exactly why szigfrid goes for those 4 points instead of recovering a meeple. So now Pablo needs to hope to draw both a straight line and a crossroads. Let's do a quick recount. I'm for sure there's one crossroads remaining. Straight lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, there is one straight line remaining, which is really not looking great for Pablo, because he now needs to draw both the straight line and the crossroads. Now, the idea of him drawing the crossroads is okay. Because if he draws the crossroads, he can also score quick points. Drawing the straight line... Oh, no. If Pablo draws a straight line as his last tile, he can just go here and drop a farmer. Yeah, szigfrid has options, but here's the thing. This city on the left can only be taken with a road tile, and our assumption is, let's say, if Pablo draws both road tiles, then only Pablo can take this 6-point field. So that would be the plan for Pablo. There's no time to block this square, as szigfrid just cleans off another city from Pablo's city cap, from Pablo's field, which is really nice. Pablo gets the crossroads, will go here to score the 3 points, and then Pablo will hope to draw a straight line that goes here. Well, this is going to get very, very close. Pablo has 27 points on the field at the moment. szigfrid gets a city cap and drops a farmer. Who is going to get the curve? The straight line. I mean, Pablo gets the straight line. That's great for him. He can go over here, score 6 points for the farmer. Then these two fields will not be connected, and Pablo will preserve all his field points. But will this be enough with szigfrid's scoreboard lead? I didn't quite count this out. But Pablo is about to have 33 field points. Does he see the farm on the left? He probably still wants to know the remaining tiles. I think what he's trying to do, I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to check if a misplacement of the curve won't give back some sort of 5-point road from Pablo. So let's say going here would be a mistake if there were a curve remaining, because that would give back a road meeple. Yeah, so he chooses to take it safely, go to the north, and the best that szigfrid do is 4 points up top. which of course Pablo would have loved to have for his own city. Well, actually, Pablo would have loved to have this tile before drawing the straight line, but I don't think he gets to complain that much. Yes, Wise Mage, please, no spoilers in the chat for those of you who have figured out the final score. It is going to get pretty close. And I'm not even trying to do the calculations in my head as well. And the same tile for Pablo, so he will get the extra city points, of course, if he sees this option. So we know that a slightly more fortunate sequence would have given Pablo 2 extra points if you were to draw this road first and then the straight line. So Pablo saying GG, but who's winning? Szigfrid also saying GG, but with capital G's. The city points are counted. Now the long road of Szigfrid and the monastery are also added to his tally. Will this be enough to overcome 33 farming points from Pablo? Oh, there's also city at the bottom. Yeah, there was a +6 move. It kind of looks like a lot. So it gets incredibly close. Oh, this is unbelievable. A 1-point game. Szigfrid wins by 1. Oh, man. What a game. And also, Szigfrid now needs to be super happy because if Pablo were to draw the same tile that he did but in reverse order, if Pablo were to draw this tile first, he'd manage to use his meeples to score these 2 points. Then he'd meeple this field on the last turn unobstructed, and then it would be Pablo who would have won with 1 point. So, a really tight game, and that just shows you how dangerous these fields can be and how important it is to be the first on the farm. So it was very close to repeating my mistake back in 2023, which haunted me for like months. Of course, in order to even create this opportunity, Red needed to get quite lucky in the sense that Szigfrid didn't draw one of the 2 tiles remaining, and also Pablo was able to draw this tile in the first place. But, you know, very dicey situation here. So yeah, kind of Szigfrid sacrificing both of the fields, going the outrunning route, which may have been justified, but that put him so close to losing, which of course makes this game even more entertaining. And overall, a great strategically played game by Szigfrid. I think the thing that won his game was that temporary meeple advantage that he managed to hold on for so long. First of all, controlling with this city 2 of Red's meeples, which actually never came back to his hand, despite Red even drawing the tile that fits into that square. Second, managing to develop this long road, which went through both of his opponent's features. Third, managing to control with this city meeple, again, 2 of Red's features, this city and this monastery overall, both ended up being completed, but at what cost? Pablo was forced to spend time without meeple for so long. And I think the one mistake that cost Pablo the game was this move over here. Even though he ended up not having his road blocked, remember how he drew the one remaining splitter on the very next move that would allow him to free a meeple much earlier, with which the game could have been quite different at all. So yeah, those mini battles, those critical squares, it's just lovely to watch complex positions like this. Oh, hi, Joseph. Congratulations on the win. Do let us know how's your heart rate. Victor is already ready with some banter. saying, I feel sorry for Pablo losing today in the next round. This is, of course, to remind of you, as we said in the start, Pablo will be playing against Victor Besson. Oh yeah, okay, perfect. So there you can already discuss the game in the chat a little bit. We'll spend still a couple of minutes on this position, but remember, don't go nowhere, because after that we're going to have another 40 minutes worth of content where we're going to have a look at the recent match between Nalaheim and the Australian player with a screen name Me Got No Skill. Yeah, so Joseph is saying there were other attacking spots for the field. So the idea of taking this 9-point field is not so much to join your farmer to the main farmer. It's just to take the 9 points for yourself and live with that. And of course also to deny your opponents the joy of doing something like this. Because of course, I know the sort of the idea is, like the strategic idea, that let's say like after Pablo drops this farmer, what green can do here is just draw one of those tiles to connect both farmers together. But the idea of red drawing his farmer exactly like this, if he gets a vanilla city cap early enough, and there was still one remaining, then he can go over here, take those city points, and then block this connection square at the same time. So that's why as red, it was actually a very nice idea to go for the counterintuitive placement. So like earlier in the game, you normally want to go tight and go over here in order not to open any more squares. But then by going over here, red created the chance of actually blocking the square. Turned out that red didn't need it because red drew both row tiles that fit there. But yeah, that of course made the situation really, really close. 33 field points, still not enough for the Argentinian. So an absolutely spectacular match. Congratulations to both players for putting on a show, but more congratulations to szigfrid for actually managing to win. And let's see what that means for the tournament table. So szigfrid will be playing in the semifinals against Zitakuta Traps of Japan. So that will be a clash of two masters. Then after that, whoever wins will play against either Krishna of Latvia or pablobce of Thailand. This will be decided tomorrow at 2:30 UTC. I will also be playing tomorrow at the same time against Rabbit Raid of Japan. So that's why I won't be streaming Krishna against pablobce. And as said before, Victor is already waiting for Pablo in the lower bracket. Yeah, that was also another opportunity, building a large field and losing in the end. That also makes sense. Well, I guess in that case, though, if you do end up losing a large field, then Pablo is forced to spend more tiles to actually connect the fields. So this means that, let's say, Pablo will need to drop like a farmer here, connect here, let's say, okay, farmer here, connect here, and then also to eat up your meeple as well. So that's 3 tiles. And in that event, the big field is worth a bit fewer points because red doesn't score twice for these cities. But yeah, I can see, like, I think red had some slight winning chances pretty much no matter what. I don't think there was really a move that gives you 100%. Alrighty, enough with this game. Now, let's go to our second event of the day, which will not be A live game. Actually, no. I'm not gonna go to Nalaheim's profile. I'm gonna go to Me Got No Skills Pro. Wait, Me Got. Maybe it's separate. Like this? Okay, that's interesting. All right, let's go to Nalaheim's profile. The reason I wanted to go to Me Got No Skills profile, I would just wanted to assume that Nalaheim must have played like a ton of games already after. So we might have to do some scrolling before we actually find that game. Board Game Arena is acting out a little bit. Come on. Yeah, if somebody has a link for the actual game, that would be very much appreciated. Because what is that? Me got no skill of just one extra space. Thank you for confirming that. But until we sort out Board Game Arena. Okay, look. Okay, let's do something else. Let's just count how many games Nalaheim has spent from yesterday. Because usually what happens when I lose a tournament match, I actually normally want to spend like a couple of games immediately after to numb the pain. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 1 page worth of games. 11, 12, 13. Okay, 13 games. That's actually not that much in just one day. So let's go to their decider. And our protagonist here is going to be Nalaheim, despite the old design. Oh, wait, did they change it? I mean, despite the new design. Look at this. There's like a little village next to the road. I don't remember seeing those before. Or did I just not notice that? But that's pretty cute. But anyway, in competitive Carcassonne, we don't want cute. We want simple and efficient. All right. Okay, I guess let's just get the tile counter as well. Let's be prepared. So starting natural moves. All right, so this I think is actually a mistake. What you normally want to do as red. I know we are, so Nalaheim's our protagonist, but we'll be commenting on both players. It's like a pretty basic move though. You just want to like leave the city cap in the more restricted way. Because there can be a lot of damage from that. I'll show you in a second the worst possible scenario. Normally, of course, you just want to face it to Green's Road so that the number of tiles that can be used to take the city cap is way smaller. And the fact that you would be setting up for Green to get an extra road point from this tile is actually irrelevant, because in the event that Green gets a city plus road tile now, he'll get this tile anyway, and this one extra road point will be of benefit to Green indirectly. So that's actually quite an easy opening mistake. But here's the worst case scenario. Okay, you place this tile. Green gets an extender and starts a new city. This is already bad enough, because, you know, by just placing this, turning this tile towards Green Road, we could have prevented an easy city. But then, you, as red, draw a Dorito with a road with a shield. And where are you going to place it? Oh, that's right. There's only one legal place on the board to place it. It is over here to help your opponent instead of starting your own city. So you place it over here, add 4 points, your opponent gets a city cap, and then bam, you're down extra 12 points on the scoreboard. So this can turn bad for red really, really quickly. Of course, now Green will restrict this. Okay, that's interesting. What's that about? I am kind of really surprised, because I'm pretty sure that the move for Green is to go here, no? So then if you go to the left, you restrict the city cap, Now you prevent the same bad scenario. You prevent red from drawing all these good tiles that go here. You set up yourself up for extra road points. For example, if you go here, and with any city plus road tile, red starts the city or gets the 4 points and continues your road. So you get some compensation. And also you keep your road free from invasions. Even though it's only 3 points, 3 points already like a bit more than 2, so there's some value in keeping it closed. Now when you open up your roads, it's actually quite easy for red to use road tiles productively. So let's say any road tile goes here now for just equalization. But if you place it over here, it's difficult to equalize. Well, it's difficult to use the straight line productively. Probably you can use any road tile to go over here to start some sort of blocking attack over here, but early in the game, these blocking attacks really are not so dangerous at all. So, very curious to hear why you went here, but I'm quite convinced that the other move is just stronger. I think I know one reason, actually, why you would do this. And I know why I might do this by accident. Sometimes, when you play the opening, I always expect my opponent to play the best move. So when they don't play the best move, I'm not always prepared for that, and I just sometimes not register that, and I respond, and I just make a response that I would have played otherwise. So when they play not the best move, it kind of makes me, I just need to pause and think again about this position, because this position is one that I don't encounter frequently, because normally my opponents do play the best move. So yeah. So Mize May saying the decider is not interesting. So should I just tell me, should I analyze another game instead? Okay, you were in the second game. Was it really not interesting? Because I think that's his... Oh, a double threat on my road. Okay, so if you go over here, yeah, your opponent can go here and threaten your road from above and from below. But actually, wait, again, so of course, by the way, you can see one of the bad scenarios, right? So your me already got those easy points. Because if you go over here, if your opponent goes here with any tile and threatens this square, okay, that's actually not that great because you need the same type of dagger in two places. But still, this stuff is just not that dangerous in the opening. All right, you do start a new city, pointing it downwards. Your opponent tries to block, which is a mistake. Okay, I'm not sure. Actually, maybe this one isn't a mistake. With 3 tiles remaining, that looks great. Wait, and you drew this, and of course you drop a farmer, so that looks amazing. So how did you lose that game? Your opponent starts a city over here, which makes perfect sense. You continue your road, which makes perfect sense. And then they do this, which is a mistake. Yeah, it's a mistake. It's better, of course, to attack the city like that, at the bottom. Because then you have one meeple which you're attacking, and another meeple with which you're trying to even overrun the city. So that's really good for you, that your opponent makes this move. Okay, and this is actually the one game. So I have seen already one position from this game, and this is the one that is worth talking about. Yeah, so no, this is the right game to be analyzing, trust me. I've seen a position that I'm going to have a move from now. But yeah, so I would say so far, when it comes to mistakes, 2 red, 1 green. Okay, Monastery for Nalaham. So suddenly our position looks very good. Now Mi-God gets this dangerous move, starting to block, well, not block, but trying to overrun our city with a Dorito and a triple city. So this is looking pretty bad. it's not such a big deal because we add a tile to the top of our monastery, we get the points, and we get the blocking attack a bit less dangerous. Because let's say if they do get a Dorito tile, we'll still have a chance to draw a city plus road tile, although the chance is not that great. We'll talk about that a bit sooner, and then connect to the city ourselves. Alright, so now Migod gets a straight road, which he does to start a new road here. I think a direct attack on this road is a little bit stronger. Yeah, I think it's just better, but this also makes some sense. It takes 3 immediate points at the very least, and it makes sure that this good chunk of the road is already still accessible. And now we have our critical moment. So this is the position that I have seen, and I guess I'm gonna first ask y'all in the chat, everybody except Nalaheim, because obviously, you can comment a bit later. So, what do you do in this position and why? I'll give it a minute, and then I'll give y'all my take. And I think we might end up talking about this move like 20 minutes. I have such a feeling. So, we gotta go deep here. I need some energy. I'm gonna give you a bit of an ASMR. Yes, Wise Maze. That one's for Koki Yamaguchi, for the owner of the site topcarcassonne.com, which has all these cool puzzles. So somebody please do send this to him. Devaka is saying should close the city and drop a second farmer. Wise Maze is saying, against Migot, and not always perfectly playing opponent, reduce the volatility, suck it up, and close the city. Yeah, so these are some perfect points brought up. So this is also the move that I would play. I also have a second choice move, and I'm going to talk about those in a second. So first of all, I think the second choice move here, like if you're not going to close the city, it is going here and starting a new city with a bunch of ideas. So first of all, it's a shielded tile. It's a good way to start a new city. And then we have a bunch of things that we can do. We can get a Dorito tile here and kind of neutralize the threat here of red going like this. Or, you know, we can get a simple city cap and restrict this square and maybe... And we still preserve the chance to draw one splitter, which would probably win us the game on the spot. But actually, like, the more I talk about this now, the more... the more it seems to me that this is a second choice, but it's like the second choice by a mile. So I think one of the reasons why like you might not want to go and close the city is because it's a shielded tile, and like you hate to do, first of all, you take like one of the best tiles in the deck and then use it on a move which immediately gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and so you hate to use it and move for -5. But here are some reasons why this might be worth it. So Napalm, it's a different farmer. So first of all, with this move, let's say if we play over here, or we do anything with this tile, of course there's still a gigantic threat. Now I guess what this does, it slightly reduces that threat because so let's say if this tile weren't here anyway. Okay, so let's say like if we just place the Dorito tile in any other place, I don't know, here, just somewhere random, then if our opponent draws a triple city, then suddenly they're one tile away from completing a huge city. Well, not huge, but enough to make us suffer. Then we don't have another platform to re-attack. So at least this already creates that re-attacking platform. The problem is that they can still quite safely take a Dorito and go here, and this looks like it's possible to attack at the top, but actually it's not easy at all, because look at how many roads plus city tiles are there. So let's actually have a look. So there's 3 of those, 2 of those, that's 8, 3 of those, that is 11, and there's 3 of these guys, that is 14. So we have 14 tiles to re-attack at the top in this situation where our opponent has a Dorito. So 14 looks good, but our opponent has a bunch of tiles which they can use to connect. So after this move, they're going to have, let's say, 7 tiles with which they can complete the connection. So the 7 remaining big city tiles. So it looks like 14 is way bigger than 7, so we have the better chance. But in addition to these tiles, they have a bunch of other options in this critical situation. They also can use any road tile to go here and basically protect that square. So 6, 10, and there's 6, 10, 11, 16 pure road tiles. Plus, what they can also do, they can get like a regular city cap, almost any city tile that, say, goes over here, to protect the square indirectly, to basically reduce our number of blocking tiles almost to 0, like, or re-invasion tiles to just 2. So first of all, they, even for like direct securing of the square after they draw a Dorito, they have 7 plus what? So that was 18. So they have 25 different options when we have just 14 options. That really gives them a much better chance to outdraw us. And yeah, this is kind of all not that great, simply probability-wise. So here's another thing about this. This is not the only possible chance for them to complete the city. It's also possible. So let's say in this situation where maybe like you get a Dorito tile and you yourself go over here to equalize, they still can draw a road plus city tile to go here. Now for this one, we're flipping a coin, because they are a slight favorite to draw that before you, simply because it's their turn. But it's a coin flip. But if they do get that tile, then because you've already committed a Dorito to equalize over here, then this square is slightly restricted, so it's very hard for you to block. In fact, you have only one pure blocking tile, and that is the quadruple city tile. So you're trying to draw 1 tile before they're trying to draw 6. So of course there now be a big favorite to finish that city if they get a road plus city tile over here, especially something like a starting tile. But also, I think a big question to ask ourselves is not so much about, it's not just about the probabilities, which also like look not great for green in that situation, but about the expected value, which is probabilities times the number of points that we're getting from this situation. So by placing the shield to start our own city, which by the way, which of course, like we normally want to spend shield on our own constructions, which by the way, it's not always guaranteed to be our own constructions, because part of the reason why what we might have to do is we might have to get another Dorito tile just to equalize this guy anyway. So this is not even guaranteed to be our own construction in the first place. So and then of course the expected value is the effect of the move multiplied by the probability. Like, I can't tell you exactly what the probability is, but let's say our opponent has conservatively a 40% chance to finish that city and overrun it, which I think is actually more than that. Then we should multiply that by whichever number of the points they're getting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. So that's going to be a 20-point city. So this means that, like, the expected value of this move is -8. So 20 times, okay, -8 plus 2, because we're getting that. So it's -6. So actually, by going -5, you're getting the better expected value if we just count for pure points. So that's sort of one of the things, you're going to go pure by expected value or equity. It's not just the probabilities, it's also what these probabilities bring. So like a medium probability of something bad happening is actually like really, really bad thing, just because of how impactful it is for the overall game. So first of all, we have our probabilities to consider. And the second, we have the the expected value. But then third, and most importantly, the always kind of the big question is the overall position assessment and the win probability after each move. The thing why in the opening we can't really think about win probabilities, because not even superhuman computers can deal with imperfect information games this early. So the only way to know the win percentage is to we can only estimate it by maybe like simulating a million games, in which, let's say, each opponent draws some tiles and like places the highest scoring moves. We can simulate a million games and then just see how often red wins and how often green wins. And then we can kind of have an estimate of the win probability. But we can still assess the position and make a rough estimate. And also here, it is doable. So the thing is, after the completed city, our position is rough if we lose it. But if we don't lose it, if we just go over here and as what was the expression? So as Wise Maze is saying, suck it up. If we suck it up and drop a farmer over here, the position is as follows. So we can make that assessment. We're -8 on the scoreboard, but we have a 6-point monastery, which almost accounts for that. Our opponent has 1 city cap, which is worth slightly under 2 points. The reason why it's worth slightly under 2 points is because it is worth normally 2 points, as it is, because it's part of an eventually 4-point city. But there are also some chances that this guy sometimes gets blocked, maybe like 10% of the time, something like this. So this city cap is maybe worth 1.8. The road, I wouldn't really count the road that much. Let's say these two are equal eventually. Maybe even the road is like slightly negative for us because our opponent has tempo to attack it. But it's very close to 0 here. So we have 6, our opponent has something like 9.8. So we're like 4 points behind. No, we're like 4 points behind, even a little bit less. But we also have the farmers. And certainly the farmers are already worth something. It's a very good farm with 2 farmers and quite a lot of green squares for expansion. Even if our opponent ends up equalizing, it's gonna cost them definitely multiple scoring tiles to be able to do that. And overall, I like our position. So it's actually very close to being equal. But even though if red is ahead, I'm going to kind of just use what, well, Wisemay said. So against Migot, not always perfectly playing opponent. Now, this is definitely not to throw shade at your opponent, who is clearly an expert, and, you know, they have some achievements. They did achieve the semifinals, and I think they ended up winning 3rd place, actually. Yeah, I think they ended up winning 3rd in the 2021 Mind Sports Olympiad. Go watch that video. I should rewatch that video. I hope the quality of analysis has improved at least over the last 2 years that this channel has existed. But yeah, this was one of my first videos analyzing a game against Migot. Anyway, so it's still, like, despite that fact, you're not playing like a top player in the world, and you also have seen already that in this game they have committed 2 mistakes. So one with this tile and one with this early move. So you can possibly expect some mistakes in the future, and, like, in generally. So this is a position which is roughly equal, where you're only slightly behind, and you can just easily well, not easily, but let's say you can outplay your opponent later. There's, like, a lot of Carcassonne to be played. Whereas if they do end up completing that big city, then they end up, let's say, like, then it's not that they are more likely to win. That too, of course. It's just that also all the decisions that they have to make are very easy. And in addition to risking the big city, you're also not giving them any chance to commit mistakes. Because, well, if they get the Dorito tile, they just go here. If they get the cow tile, that goes here. So these are all very, very easy moves in that position. Whereas, like, if you meeple a farm with 2 points, it's very easily possible to mess up. Like, the strategy for red is not clear. It's kind of depending on what red draws. If red draws a bunch of monasteries, there are still some spots over here at the bottom, or maybe over here to equalize this. Then maybe just red can go for an imbalance, like score some quick points, allow for you to have this farm over here and try to outrun you. They can, but maybe they don't draw the tile that allow them to do that, in which case they have to go the other route. They have to actually equalize the farm, keep things balanced, try to be a bit ahead on the scoreboard, and, like, win a couple of points like this. So they might have to drop a farmer here and, like, a farmer elsewhere. I don't know. So will they be able to always make the right choice? Maybe, but it will be way, way, way harder. But even that aside, so kind of even, I guess, like, sort of assuming that your opponent would make mistakes is not necessarily the best strategy to go by, because my first thought that against most players I'd finish the city, and then against, you know, maybe like top 10 players in the world, I would do something else to be more efficient. Probably even against top 10 players in the world, I would still finish the city. Even though maybe I'm, like, slightly behind, it's not a significant disadvantage. And, you know, easily, like, my position can become better with, I don't know, like one monastery. I draw one monastery over here, some sort of 4-point road, that's it. I already have the advantage back. So it's a really close position anyway, and, like, even between 2 optimally playing opponents, which always is very rarely a thing still these days, the best players still make mistakes. So even between 2 optimally opponents, like, it's a very minor advantage for red, and I'm not even sure if that's like I'm not, maybe it's like 1 point or even less, because the 2 farmers on the start are really good. So these are some things to consider. But finally, there is one other thing. Let's say if we take all this about, so let's say if you don't finish that city here, the question is, what exactly are you hoping for? Because, like, eventually this situation will be resolved somehow. So maybe you're hoping to do that with a shieldless Dorito. But then the question is like, do these 2 extra points from the shield or 1 extra point from the shield really, like 1.5 or something on average, does this really make that difference? Because it looks like a really, really thin difference in that case. Because then, again, like we could get the splitter, but there's only 1 remaining and it happens really rarely. We could get a city plus row tile to reinvade the city ourselves and win this. But in case that happens, well then, you know, in case that happens, then what do we do? Oh yeah, no, wait, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so like, if we're hoping for a city plus row tile, well then that outcome is more likely to happen for red than for us, slightly more likely, like a couple percentage points, because they are to go before us. So it's really like, if you look at this position, it's just so unlikely to resolve in a way which is more favorable than just the city being equal. So I think ultimately this choice comes down to psychology. It's like most of the time you wanna, you know, be efficient with tiles and like and save shield for yourself. That's because most of the time this is in fact the best move, but most of the time is not all the time. And this is one of those times where, you know, being conservative and like being a chicken is exactly the kind of thing that you want to do. There's some interesting things. Let's say if you draw a shieldless tile, well yeah, then probably this move becomes a bit easier to make. But if you draw something like a cow tile, this thing becomes interesting. So let's say if it can become a cow tile, if you draw a cow tile, then I'm already not sure what the best move is. Because if you go here and connect your opponent, now you really haven't accomplished much. Because there's still the threat of your opponent getting something like a tube, a triangle, a triple city, and going like this. So it is actually entirely possible that maybe a move that I would play if I have this tile is actually not going here, but instead adding it to red city, turning it outwards, breaking up red city a little bit, preserving the chance to either draw a curve and block the square, and, you know, not allow red to capitalize on my 5 points. And let's say if red defends with a straight line, first of all, they're breaking their own city up top, and they also giving us like I don't remember the percentages, 15% chance or something, maybe a bit less, to draw the splitter to separate before they draw the Dorito to connect. So something like this. So all of that is possible. So at the very least, if we get a cow tile, then if we add it to red city, we get kind of multiple positive outcomes as well. We are risking indeed of red getting a road plus city tile immediately, such as a let's say such as a starting tile. But in that case happens, they would need to commit a meeple to what's a 75% chance to connect, multiplying by the probability of them drawing this tile in the first place. It's already not that risky. And it's much more likely that either we're going to draw a curve first to block, or they're going to draw a straight line first to defend. So it's much more likely that this is going to happen before they draw this. Again, against a low-rated opponent, that still might be not worth the risk. But I would probably draw the line there. So they're still like, I mean, they're still good, of course, if they made it this far in the tournament. Like I've seen them, you know, make good moves and stuff. So yeah, so then if you do add this to this city, like then there's some merit of being, you know, less of a chicken because there are more positive outcomes. Here it's kind of like the real outcome is either drawing the splitter or connecting to the city from here, which they are more likely to do than us, or to get a shieldless Dorito to finish the city jointly, which, first of all, they are likely to draw a Dorito before than we do. And even if we're successful, it's just kind of like a very, very marginal benefit compared to drawing this. So even with those thoughts aside, is when kind of evaluating situations like this, sort of need to think the possible outcomes and like what exactly are you hoping for, and then how likely it is. So yeah, it's very complicated kind of thought process. So there's multiple layers to this, but I think ultimately it just comes down to like the assessment of overall position. Okay, do I want to be chicken or not? Like, how does my position look after this? And if you just finish the city, your overall position looks fine. I would even say it's pretty good. Like, I'm not even sure I would pick red. I might pick green over red in this position, because of the farmers and because of the decent chance of the monastery spot and so on. So yeah, something like this. So to sum up, first of all, the probabilities of the outcomes or your estimates of probabilities, which sometimes require knowledge, sometimes intuition, or a mix of both. Usually the number of tiles that you need versus the number of tiles that your opponent needs is a good proxy for understanding the probabilities. Let's say if you have way more tiles than your opponent does, well then probably your probability is still looking pretty good. If your opponent has more tiles, well then it looks pretty bad. The second is expected value, so not just probability, but probability multiplied by the actual points or the severity of the outcome. In this case, even a half decent probability of them finishing a big city is not good for us, because it is what I was gonna say. Well, yeah, so like even a half decent probability for our opponent to finish our city is bad enough, just because of like how bad it is overall for the game. If you want to put numbers on it, then you can kind of try estimate. Okay, the city's worth 20 points times by the probability of completing it. Let's say conservatively 40% or something. That's 8 points. If we finish the city, it's -5. -5 is better than -8, something like this. But even in Carcassonne, I don't like thinking like this. I actually don't do that during the games, just because there are always other like positional considerations and stuff like this. So even though I talk about probabilities a lot, it's something that I usually think outside from the table, and just to have that knowledge in advance, as opposed to sort of counting them out in real life, although sometimes that also happens. Then there's the overall position assessment. And then there are kind of all these other additional considerations. So yeah, the chicken move is the move here. And this, of course, is not what happened in the game. And this is what makes it interesting. Migot doesn't even immediately get this tile. So this is already... by the way, I think I told I'd be talking about this move for like 20 minutes. I think it was way more than that. If somebody was measuring the time, do let me know. It just felt like a very interesting position to address. And yeah, after this, I haven't seen this. I don't know what happened in the game. Well, I guess we can guess what happened, right? But I don't actually know that. So here, it's an interesting move already. Like, what do we do here as green? I don't know, but that's also, again, like, it's just in this position in the first place. So probably want to restrict, but okay, this is interesting. Like, do we even want to restrict that square? Because here's the thing. If we go here and start restricting that square, this restriction, it's also kind of a defense, because our opponents can draw a Dorito, and then the Dorito becomes even more dangerous. Because this square has already been protected, and there's like a, they have 3 tiles remaining for them to take over. So, but then on the other hand, if we go here, we create a blocking platform against this city, in addition to this blocking platform, and we also eliminate the opportunity to get another meeple in with something like a starting tile and connect to the field. So I don't know. So maybe we just go here and meeple the road? Yeah, I guess this is what I would do. But I wanna know better. Thank you, Victor, for counting. 21 minutes, 29 minutes. Well, you be the judge if it was mandated or not. Dum 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 dum! And MeGod gets the cow tile. And of course they now go here. And they also try to equalize the road. And they're now one Dorito tile away from connecting. Now, actually, once they do that, their chances of connecting are below 50% for sure. Because you need to draw a Dorito tile or a triple city before them. And because from their perspective you're moving first, it is more likely that you draw it. But not by much, I think. So let me think, 7 Doritos, how much did that make? So below 60% for sure, surprisingly. Below 60, above 55, I think that was the case. So again, they have, obviously, so they're not the favorite to finish the city, but they're likely enough for this to be worth it. An alternative for them would be to place this tile over here, but actually that wouldn't be that dangerous, even though that would already cut this meeple off, there would still be another platform to re-attack, and so on and so on. So this is actually the better move on their part. Okay, so you continue a monastery, which makes sense, but of course it's also sad, because you eliminate a monastery spot. Now that I think about this, you know what? You know what? Maybe. Let me think this. Yeah, I'm not sure I like this move as green. I think I don't. And the main reason is this. So now it's your move, and you don't have a Dorito tile. So this means the scales have shifted. From your perspective, they are the favorite to finish the city before you manage to attack it. So this means that you can kind of try and thinking about setting up compensation opportunities. And placing this one square higher seems to be like a good opportunity to gain quick compensation in case they are indeed successful with the city. Because the thing is, like, okay, they do end up having these 22 points because of this extra shield. Then, if that happens and you also get a quick 8-point monastery, then your overall situation is not that bad. Sometimes you get blocked here, but then if you get blocked here, you have a 50-50 chance of getting a meeple back with the road monastery, which is good enough if you're behind, because then like 50-50 is good for you. But if you manage to deal with the square successfully, let's say if you do manage to connect there, then your overall winning chances are fine. You have this 6-point field. Then maybe it's not such a big deal to have a blocked meeple. So this would be my logic there. And then if they do get some tiles to restrict this monastery, then this means that if they do get tiles to restrict this monastery, what does this mean? This means something. This has to mean something. So this means that they don't get the city tile. That's also what they mean. But also understand, I assume the idea behind this move was just get a meeple back quickly. But again, if this were not here, this is better. If this is here, I think setting up the monastery is probably the stronger option. Wait, a wise maze, how did you get those probabilities? Because there was like quite a complex piece of software my friend wrote for that. It's not an I don't think it's something that you can just do manually. Anyway, so the city is completed. And now we can try a bit shorter. We could try to look for your opportunities how to make a comeback. 0 of 30 is not great. And look at how generous your opponent is. They just gave 3 points to your farm. Aren't you happy? Please, Wise Maze, if you could just like share how your script worked, I would be super interested to know. That would be like such a game changer. For analysis and stuff. Because some of these probabilities are like pretty counterintuitive. They're generally counterintuitive in a way that what I thought were big advantages were actually not that big. Thank you so much, Wise Maze. We're so looking forward to it. Yeah, also, by the way, so of course, like, we've exhausted this move long enough. So I think it's mostly like a psychological thing about the shield that I think that really what behind under it. But also, by the way, another way to sort of convince to make yourself this chickeny move, it was actually if you drop a farmer, then this is not a -5 move, this is a +5 move. So you lose like immediately. So you lose 5 points from this city, which is equalized, but you get 3 points for this farmer and 3 points for this farmer. So there's a bit of something for green too. Now, yeah, so this is now great. You're gonna basically, your idea is to try to get the farm as big as possible. Your opponent, I think, okay, they're playing okay. That is an okay move. But an annoying idea would have been to go over here, actually, and to attack both the monastery and your farmer as well. To just go over here without even placing a meeple. And then this immediately threatens a block here, or a block here afterwards. Oh, that would have been so annoying for you, but they didn't see it. Okay, so they just start a new city. You get your meeple back, and you probably have to drop a second farmer there. And of course, the downside is that now that they have the scoreboard lead, at least what they should do, they should play a proper imbalance. Basically, they should just ignore the field until the rest of the game. This is how you win those games, as read all the time. Let's see if that's what happened. Quick monastery points to develop the field, which is very nice. They set up another monastery. Ooh, okay. Blocking, yeah, of course, that's good. That's really good, because it's very easy to block, given that there's only one dagger. Ooh, they get a quadruple city tile, so they add it to you. But that's actually good for you, because you're behind. Because now you have a new plan. Okay, they have a big city, then you just build. Like with any big city tiles, they all go here. You get a Dorito here quickly, and then you try and finish it. Okay, you get a road tile, which you use to finish your monastery, which makes sense. They start a new city, which you immediately... like this. Okay, yeah, that works, that works. I was thinking placing it one to the left, but your option also works. I'm not sure how much I like this farmer potentially being cut off from the main field, because something like a Dorito could go there, and then this... well, actually, no, I think it's fine. Yeah, I think it's fine. And you're also preventing them from drawing a splitter. Yeah, I actually like this. But yeah, you probably need to connect the fields pretty soon, because the value of having this extra meeple, which scores this extra 3 points, is not as much as the security of having the control of the main field. But this is an issue that will be decided later. They make a completely inexplicable move here, I think. Well, it's not entirely inexplicable, actually. Now that I think... No, wait, I shouldn't be too quick. In this particular tile round, this move sort of kind of makes sense. So they are trying to finish that city, so instead... So they're covering it up from invasions.
They're not covering it up for blocks. So if you draw one of the two remaining curves, yeah, that's only a 50-50 chance of blocking, actually, no matter what you do. So this certainly... No, wait. Okay, no, this is a clear mistake, of course. The move that they need to play, they just need to say goodbye to the city. They need to finish this one, because the bottom city is about to get blocked. So yeah, so of course, like, they here... They're thinking of a chance to finish the city, whereas what they should be thinking is like how to win this game. And how they win this game is they, make sure that they don't get stuck with 1-point meeples. If they just get this back, then if you invade the city, this is actually okay for them because you're in meeple trouble. But if you don't invade the city, you still need to spend tiles on blocking it. Yeah, exactly. So fortunately, they're making some mistakes. You continue to block them. They now forced to defend their city like this. You now... of course, you block the top city, which makes sense. They now harass your road a little bit. You're probably unperturbed. I think you can start... You can probably either take 3 quick points at the top or build up your city at the bottom. I'm not sure I'm not sure which one's stronger. Are you that behind? Yeah, you are. It's not so much about the scoreboard, it's more about this threat, which you really can't do anything about. Eventually you're going to get a monastery and place it here, and that is pretty bad for us. Oh, although, wait, interesting actually, that there are no vanillas remaining. So if we, wait, and nobody has used the crossroad tiles. So is it crazy if, as green, we go here, we meeple a 4-point road, which we later intend to finish with one of the many crossroads, and we get a chance to draw a Dorito or a big tile and block that square? Yeah, maybe that's it, actually. So let's see. So what you did, you went for the 3 points, which is also understandable. But yeah, and also because you're taking away scoring opportunities for them, it kind of makes sense. Okay, so what do they do? Yeah. Okay, so they make something which is, of course, I just ginormous mistake. Again, I don't want to criticize them too much. I'm just going to say, like, when a mistake is a mistake. So, a mistake this is, first of all, it leaves a 4-point road, a 5-point road, with the square against their monastery to create a block. So this is... The second reason is that it separates their shorter road from your longer road, whilst they're actually interested in connecting these roads. So yeah, the move for them is just start a new city anywhere else. But again, it's also possible that they're nervous, like, because they know they're playing you. You make a move here. Oh, okay, I disagree with that. Let me think why. Maybe I don't. Okay, I was thinking that maybe we could make the same move and point this downwards. But in order to make that decision, we need to decide how easy it is for them to defend their monastery. So if we go like this, we make sure that they have... okay, so how many defending tiles they have? They have 3 straight lines, 2 curves, 4 crossroads with 2 extra points. Those don't count because they complete their monastery immediately. Oh wait, there's 4 vanillas. Wait, okay, I'm messing this up. I thought this 4 with 8 was a 3. Oh yeah, never mind. So this is like basically completely unblockable, right? So the best you can do is just make a 50-50 block for a road monastery. Yeah, that's fine. Or, you know what, like, that move over here, if we meeple the road instead, I think that also works. Even though there's obviously 4 vanilla city caps instead of 0, because I can't read the board. Still, if we manage to make it so that, like, if they finish the monastery with a vanilla tile instead of a monastery, the impact is less. Because at least they don't get those extra monastery points. Yeah, I don't know, this is better, this is better. The only thing that I would change is maybe restrict the city cap. Yeah. To just point it downwards. Because if they get a city cap, they're still going to place it here. Like, they're not going to finish their own city. So I think that would be the idea. And also, there's some scenarios where actually you finish a road like this. And there's some scenarios where you might need this road meeple back. It's not very often, but again, very curious to hear. Because, like, this is a very, very marginal difference. The reason why I didn't like this move at first was just because I misread the number of remaining tiles that fit into the monastery. So that's it. That's everything that there's to it. But kind of curious why the city cap direction to the bottom as opposed to down. Are you thinking maybe that if you finish the city, there's some scenarios how you finish this road like this and the city cap ends up in your field? Maybe that's the reason? Ah, another reason. That's very interesting. So you want to use city caps with the road tile here, so that you can use the city caps with the field over here to grow your farm. And you realize that actually you can only use city caps with a field, because there's no platform to drop a city cap with a road, such as a starting tile, in a way that also adds to your field. That's a great point. That's fantastic. Okay, yeah, but Me God does take that city cap. Okay, you can live with that. You can actually probably block their other city cap, but I'm not sure if that's worth doing it. Yeah, this makes sense because there's no triple city crossroads here, so you can just block that square. That actually makes sense because with a long-term meeple advantage, you can do a lot. But with this one, it's gonna be painful. They do get their monastery set up. So also, by the way, credit goes to them for arranging that setup in the first place. I think I've been focusing a bit too much on their mistakes. They go over here. And you go over here, of course. They do this without a meeple, give themselves a chance to get a meeple back. You score city cap points, so things are starting to look hopeful. But, okay, they get a straight line. And, well, I'm not sure about this. I don't think it's a move worth playing, given their lead. They are saving themselves a 50-50 chance to draw a monastery, which, of course, any equity is welcome, but they should be assuming that you're the one who's going to draw the monastery. And then what they're doing, they're helping you with the road a little bit. Let's say in the event that you do get a crossroads here, on a straight line here, you can also get a meeple back, which could still matter. And they're also eliminating the two curves that fit here. Of course, they can still use curves here for building roads or for just connecting this road meeple into the field, which is still worth doing. But I think giving the chance to finish the monastery with the curves is a little bit better. So they might be worried about blocking tiles, but actually blocking tiles are not such a big deal for them. There are only 5 blocking tiles. 2 of them are city caps. But if they're city caps, you're not going to use them to block those monastery. You're going to use them to develop your field. Or if you are going to use them to block Red's monastery, well then Red should be happy because he just robbed you of another city cap on your field. So that's already a great gain. The other 3 tiles are more useful. These are the Doritos with the road, which of course you would block over here. But at the very least, this also means that you would block your own road, which would leave some scenarios for them to get a crossroads, curve, and free up this other road meeple. So something in all scenarios. So probably as red, given the exact tile runout with how few blocking tiles there are, I probably would not go there. But you keep drawing city caps, so that is looking good. You're only minus 15 with a big field. And red has been prescient. Not only did they save the monastery, they also set it up for completion. Well, this, it's something that the Carcassonne brothers like to call inspiration. It's like when you play a move and it almost seems like you know what either your opponent or your next tile is going to be. So credit absolutely goes here for me got no skill, especially for the emotional damage that this kind of move is sure to inflict. But you keep fighting by adding 2 points to your city and actually leaving some chances to finish it. City cap, Dorito. Still doable. One of your possible win conditions, even now. Red connects the road, which is a good thing given their meeple disadvantage. I mean, good thing for them. You get a city cap tile, which you probably drop in your field. Yeah, this is a great question, though. So, what do you... Is that best? I think it is. Actually, you know what? Slight correction. I think it's best to play that move, but with a meeple. The reason for that is this. If your opponent gets a vanilla, of which there are 2, they can take 4 quick points and neutralize your city cap. But like, because sometimes there's a situation where you start dropping city caps in your field, and then your opponent just keeps cleaning them up. On the other hand, if they use a vanilla there, they also don't use it for the actual city. But we also need to remember that the actual city we can still block with Dorito tile, which is sort of what we're trying to do here. Yeah. So it's like a slight preference to place a meeple there, because if you don't, essentially you're just trying to draw a city cap before they do. We also need to take into account that there are really not that many blocking tiles. Road tiles are few and far between. And let's say if they choose to do something extravagant, like maybe they take a cow tile and add it to your city to try and finish, and to try to thwart it. So then this is probably good for you because you're behind, and if your opponent tries to block you, it's a good thing because then you can get lucky and try to draw all the tiles that complete your city anyway, except it's for more points. Yeah, they do get the tile that fits there. Then you need to block it immediately, of course, giving now only a 50-50 chance to get that city. Of course, they need the starting tile or a sequence of Dorito plus city cap, but if they get a Dorito with a road, then we can still reblock that tile further. So very important block. They get a triple city tile, and what they should do, they should actually just try to make sure that they win the game. So they either need to go here and meeple this new city themselves, just to clean up the city cap, which is a move that I like, or maybe just going here, like adding it to your city awkwardly just to break that city. I probably like cleaning the city cap a little bit better. On the other hand, it's also quite easily blocked. So let's see just what they do. They do this. Credit for them for finding this. This is also, by the way, why you want to be meepling that city cap as well. You, of course, meeple a 6-point monastery with the chance of completion. They get a fantastic tile, not only to get 9 monastery points and 3 road points, but also to rub it in to cut your own road a little bit short. Now you're down 33. But we should still keep fighting. I think now our win condition has changed. Instead of growing the field, we probably want to go for finishing this big city, which could still work. Let's just assess the position again and see if we actually need to do that. So minus 35 on the board, on the scoreboard. On the board they have 4, 9, 13 points for the cities, 3 for the road, so they have 16. And we have 8 for the roads, 6 for the monasteries, 14, 20 here. On the field, 3 here, that's 23. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 18 more. So 39 against 16, that's 23. And given that, so we're actually minus 12. Minus 12 with an equal meeple count. You know what? It's kind of looks doable, I guess. We also need to take into account that they have some scoring moves. They have quick point tiles. They have tiles to continue or threaten their city here and here. They have really a lot of things actually they can do. Yeah, the problem is that any tile is useful for them, because the only thing that's remaining in the deck is really, really good stuff. Even the measly straight line is good for them because it can give them extra 3 points by merging your farms. Plus, maybe even a 4-point road if they do this on their last move. I guess one thing that you can hope that they start attacking the field and lose the game that way, which would be which would be quite a way to throw this. So here I think you need to decide. Do you go for the entire do you go for the field development, in which case your move is probably I think the best move if you're gonna go for field development is to go like this with a meeple here, so that we finish the city and then I guess we can also go the normal way. Yeah, we can do this too. The only issue with that is that once we finish the city, we probably might need to have to drop another farmer, which may be okay for us because we might get another city cap like this and then try to draw something here too, to kind of actually develop the field even more like this. Yeah, so that could possibly be a situation to get way, way more fields. The more content move is, of course, to go here for now and to develop your monastery. And because it's a move that gives you immediate 2 points, and it's also one that has preserved the threats of the city being completed. And scenarios that I possibly see is maybe like they get a straight line, and instead of connecting the farm, they just try to block you. You get the starting tile, and then they get, I don't know, like this. So basically it's quite possible for them to pull something with which they can't block. Let's say they use a crossroads here to try to block you. You get a road Dorito, regular Dorito, drop a 6-point farmer. Yeah, I kind of like the idea for the big city. It almost seems that if we're going to drop the city caps in our farm, even if we draw all the remaining three city caps, that could be not enough if our opponent just keeps scoring small points. But let's see what you do. So you go for the field routes, which again makes sense. They just keep scoring, scoring, scoring. You get a straight line, which I think, where do you place it? Either you get 1 monastery point, or you go here. Yeah, maybe you go here, basically preventing Dorito plus city cap combinations. Because you don't necessarily need to draw all city caps. You need to draw... I mean, ideally, of course, you need to draw all city caps. Like, you need to draw an extender, meeple the field, draw starting tile, go here, draw divisor, go here, draw vanilla, go here. And you have 9-point field here, 21-point field here, 3-point here. Like, that's the ideal scenario. But going here, I guess, just could prevent those options where they get this thing plus one of the city caps. Then at least if you go over here, you just make sure that they have to get the starting tile and the starting tile only. Hi, Dialecticus. Green has 2 farmers. Yeah, but like this farmer sort of hasn't connected yet. So this is like a very tricky situation. If we manage to pull a comeback and it gets very, very close, these extra 3 points that we're scoring from the fact that this farmer has not yet connected could actually matter. So we don't want to do that connection ourselves. We want to do this only in case red drops a farmer, attacks our field, and then we connect. So if the score is closer on the scoreboard and we just have this big field, then this big field is the only thing that matters in the game. If we can just connect and secure the field, then it's all great. But now it's still technically not in, and we might want to keep it that way. Wise Maze is saying prevent the field attack at the top. Yeah, over here. Yeah, sounds like a good move. Let's see what you did. Oh, you connected to your field. That's interesting. I probably prefer keeping the tension, but I want to know why you did that. I want to kind of know your logic. Because my logic, again, is like, because we're so behind that we need to keep this sort of really close. And we actually want to induce our opponent's attack on the field so that they waste a meeple, so that we do this. Or we want our opponent to spend the tile and connect our farmers. Yeah, so I think the move that I would do... No, the move I would make is this. As green. Because we also see that now red's going to draw this tile, which renews the threat of completing this city, which is really bad for us. They go at the bottom. And now we have the starting tile, which is a disaster. Because you see why this straight line was important? Because now we can't use the starting tile to finish our own city. That is, we should be very sad about this. I mean, we can still win. That's fine. Yeah, this is a good move because you're hoping to draw the splitter, or you're hoping at the very least to disallow your opponent from drawing a splitter. They get the crossroad tile to score some points. You get a vanilla to get your city meeple back. They get a crossroads to score some points. You get a road tile, which is a disaster for you. The best thing you can do is what? What can you do? 1 point? Oh, okay, meeple the road, that's fine. They go there. Then you get your meeple back, which is great. Ah, they made a mistake. Now they made a mistake. With this move, they should not have gone here. They should have gone here. To prevent you from using the splitter like this, so that you can't get your meeple back without giving them the meeple back. A bit of a miscalculation. Now they just need to spend their meeples efficiently. I guess going here for a city is fine. Or going here for a field is probably better a little bit. Okay, now Hyman is saying, yeah, in hindsight, connecting the fields might have indeed been a mistake. But given that MeGod made a bunch of unorthodox moves, I wanted to secure the field. But I would actually, yeah, so obviously we now understand this, but I would say like purely from sort of, because you see, when we discuss moves, there's one thing that we see after the game, which move is actually better. But then also one thing that is not discussed that often, that don't even talk often that of my channel, is like, how do you actually find the best moves on the board? And like, how do you convince yourself to play that move? So there's a bit of that aspect as well. And I think the fact that they have made a couple of unorthodox moves that probably should rather be used as a reason to not connect to the farm rather than to connect the farms, because again, as green, I think we're hoping that they're going to attack the farm and they're unsuccessful, because that way they invest their meeples in a way that scores 0 points. And so far, again, credit to them, they've been, even though they've made a couple of tactical errors, Red hasn't made strategical errors in this game. So once after they finished their big city, which by the way also is obviously a good attempt from them, they realized to stay out of the field. It is again like a difficult thing to do for many players. And they just like kept creating their own threats, their city on the left. And again, okay, maybe this mistake here from Red was actually strategical rather than tactical, because like realizing that just having meeples in hand is more important than trying to finish that city. Yeah, so that was like the one strategic error that they had. But like overall, the path was quite solid. Just score points, stay away of trouble. Hope that the game finishes soon enough. It's It's the same thing as when in football it's the 88th minute and the score is 1-0 and the team that is winning, suddenly there's like a player, like the goalkeeper is going very slowly to do the kick in and so on, and then maybe suddenly somebody gets quote unquote an injury, that kind of stuff. The Carcassonne equivalent of that. So they've been doing that well. And then you can probably expect them to either not attack the field, in which case you can just keep your 3 points safely, or you may hope that they deviate from their path, and, then you can take advantage of their unsuccessful meeple investment. So yeah, so part is like the objective play that wins against a computer, and part is one which is sort of trying to provoke a mistake. Which again, by the way, the thing with provoking a mistake, that can be done against any players, even players of the highest level. Alrighty. Because the worst thing, it doesn't work, but you are losing the game anyway, so. Alright, let's see what happened now. Me got no skill, got this tile, which they are going to use somewhere productively. Yeah, you see, they just make all the normal moves, not allowing you to take a better ruin. You just take you take 3 points technically. Setting up a fourth. Okay, now they need to find their best move, which I think is not taking this 5-point road. No, it is taking this 5-point road. Yeah, what am I doing? Because obviously you're threatening to go here for a 5-point move, 1 point for the city, 1 point for the monastery, 3 points for the field. But if they go here, which was my suggestion initially, go here, take a 3-point field, which in this case would mean a 4-point move for them. Then you have a 4-point move anyway. Over here, taking a 3-point field yourself and adding 1 to your city. So it's either 4-4 or 5-5. Both moves are an equal exchange, and they go for 5-5. So you both score 1 point extra. Yeah, so nice scoring sequence for you at the end with the monastery. Except that it isn't enough, and we're gonna see that it isn't enough by it's not by that much. Because that field is huge. So yeah, only -7. Which, if you think about it, it's like the difference between one more city in your field. But of course, if you get one more city in your field, then they get some other tile that they can spend elsewhere. So, and obviously they had like a couple of good tile draws, but I would say like really the main one good tile draw was this. Okay, they won a coin flip for the monastery. So the thing is, like, they didn't even get extraordinarily lucky. Like, they didn't finish any of those 2 cities. And, yeah, it was just really that thing over here. So, me got some skill afterwards, and they just got their city, which was, you know, threatening enough in the first place, and just stuck with the plan of, you know, the non-confrontational kind of win until the rest of the game. But also, like, you see, after the city thing, then you start playing like super well, creating all those opportunities, you know, thinking through about like which way to turn your city cap in order to develop your field, trying to be super efficient. But now that you're like in this difficult position, and the position forces like all these resourceful moves out of you, whereas of course the other option, you know, despite your like excellent play afterwards, was just basically not to put your position in the first place. Yeah, so the reason I wanted to analyze this game is purely about that city and what comes into that sort of thinking, and when we're trying to finish about efficiency with tiles and how to assess with threats and all that, all that good stuff. I've definitely lost important games. Well, one important game in particular, of which, by the way, the video's already half made. I want to put a teaser out there, where just by making a move which is too complicated instead of a simple move, against also an opponent who is maybe like not a famous player or anything, then ended up losing that game pretty badly. Well, anyway, the good stuff about it is that you can still qualify, which I do, you know, wish you the best of luck. And also, thanks for sharing your thoughts with us in the chat. Oh, static is back. Let me just change that. All right, I hope the noise is gone. Yeah, so... Oh yeah, so what I wanted to say, okay, so that's a great point. So let's say if Nauheim had placed the straight line like I suggested, it would have been closer. Let's see. So straight line goes here, which means that we don't have to place this tile over here. So which means that we could just finish our city. Then this plus vanilla goes in the field. So we have 3 points extra because we finished the city in the field. We have a 4th point extra because this guy over here is because we're not adding a point to our opponent's city. So that's +4. And then also we have 3 points extra because we did not connect our farm to the field, so it's a tie. In reality, it isn't, because with the last tile, assuming the same tile ran out, our opponents, instead of making a 5-point move, are gonna go over here, meeple the 3-point road, and connect our 2 farms, being it an effective 6-point move, and then we lose by 1 point still as green here. But you know, like it still keeps the things closer, of course. And maybe if we do get another straight line... Wait, where's the one? Ah, no, there really wasn't, yeah. Yeah, there really isn't anything particular else that we can do. Oh, but you know what? But then they just kind of give us more chances. Maybe we draw this, and then maybe we get a road meeple back. Yeah, it just give us chances. Yeah. So, still, of course, it's very difficult to recommend something in the position where you're something behind. I was curious to hear sort of thoughts about, if you're still here, kind of the choice between developing the field as a win condition or going for the big city as a win condition. So the the city does indeed seem to be more low probability. It's something that I just can't count right now. But then the effect of that probability is definitely game winning, as opposed to developing the field, which is sometimes game winning but sometimes isn't, given how close those things are. Right, but other than that, well, first of all, I'm gonna update the score to remind that szigfrid actually won. And then I think we're gonna move away from this position and just discuss some plans for tomorrow, because there's a stream. Let's go here. Ooh, no, main page. Oh, look at this. I think this wasn't here before. You see now for each match, there is a sign of which qualification group these are. That's so nice. So tomorrow, I am streaming Lord Terrycloth against Isloon, which is the final in Q1-2. So whoever wins will get an automatic spot in the group stage. I'm not streaming Krishna against pablobce because I'm playing myself, as I said before. And then I'm streaming the match between the two not newcomers, but newcomers actually. So neither Denmark or Bulgaria had participated before, so that should be pretty interesting. Okay, now I have me saying I never gave much thought on finishing the bid city. It seems so unlikely that I'd rather just do the cities on my field, getting 3.5 points, 3.5 points for every cap. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah, that totally makes sense, actually. Well, maybe with the first city cap, though. With the first city cap. If you do just place the first city cap... Okay, can we just go back to the position? Now, I do believe that your route is better, but. If we just place that first vanilla here, maybe we can extract something of just creating the threat, because we are getting 2 points for this. Immediately. Then maybe, you know what we can do, actually? So we can either threaten the city cap, or we can either threaten to finish this, or what can happen, our opponents can attack the city but maybe unsuccessfully. Something like this could happen. They can spend a couple of value tiles on blocking it. So if they spend a crossroads on going here to block, then it's a win for us, because we've just scored 4 points for city cap. 1 point for the city, 1 point for the monastery, and we take away 2 points for them for scoring. Just about the first, just the first move, and then the other ones can just wait. So after that, if we draw something like a Dorito, we just like go here, and then we can actually threaten. And then and if we just draw a lot of city caps, we forget about this idea and we still develop our field. Or there is some other sneaky opportunity with a city cap over here, and 1 vanilla and 1 splitter still remaining in the deck. And with us 2 meeples having in hand, and also we know that we need to draw the starting tile because of the threat over here. A move which is conceivable at some point is going over here with the splitter or the city cap, meepling another field, and drawing the starting tile to finish the monastery, and take 4 points for the city cap and 3 points for the field. So then we get another field, and we're forced to spend a meeple on this. But because we get the monastery meeple back, it's almost as if we haven't invested in meeple at all. So that's another opportunity there. And then it's the same thing, except we get a couple of extra monastery points. But then we got those points anyway, of course. It's just that, it's still possible to threaten something and maybe force our opponent into losing moves. So this is the kind of thought that I had. Again, no idea how this would actually simulate, like how does it actually influence the winning probability. Yeah, exactly, Nalaheim. So ideally, if you get triangles before city caps, you really don't have better use for triangles. You can start kind of putting those triangles upstairs. It's just about that first city cap, because it's not 1 point, it's 2 points. It's next to your monastery. There are these moves. Like there's some other good things that can happen. Oh, wait. Linking this. Yeah, well, it's great, of course, but like linking, linking, of course, would be fantastic, but I'm not a web developer, but this website just seems like an enormous amount of work. Like everything's sort of so neat, and even the smallest thing, just to put things in the right places, takes more effort than that might think. So it's already, anyway, this whole thing is just amazing. So Sergey's awesome. Yep. Which I'm pretty sure y'all also think the same. Anyway, yeah, so stream tomorrow evening, match without stream. Maybe somebody shows up to stream out this. That'll be very nice. And then that's it. Analysis over. Hopefully got something out of that.